Hey, you guys, it's Negative Indicted TV here. We're almost at 100K. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also remember I go live on Wednesdays evenings. I drop an episode every Sunday, 11 o'clock. Make sure you guys comment. If you guys have any suggestions, any questions, whatever it might be, drop a comment. Let's get into this episode.
Hey, check this out. If you want to get into Navy Fed and get 20,000 in 95 days, comment the word credit. All right, come here. I already bombed this right here. Fix your credit. If you're Latino, you need to wake up. Fix your credit.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Indicted TV. I'm your host, Negra. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Before we start, you already know I gotta give a shout out to my sponsors, Royalty Honey. Keep it hard, guys. Also for the best jewelry for his glory. For some fire, Barrio Grown, Lupi Sanchez in Lincoln Heights, and for some dope streetwear, Shockaware. On today's episode, we have Silence.
That's right.
Welcome to Indicted TV.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate your time for
No,
sure.
I appreciate you coming. It was about
That's
that
right.
time we got it in, huh?
Yeah. It's been a long time coming for sure.
That's right. Everything always works out when it's supposed to work out, huh?
Yep. And like I told you, I like it to happen organically.
That's right.
You know, I want it to just happen, you know what I'm saying, instead of it pushing the issue.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, yeah, I would have definitely not pushed the issue. I asked one time, and if you say no, we ain't doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's always better when people are like, hey, let me come on. I'm like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So tell us, Silent, tell me where you're from, where you grew up, your mom, dad, brothers, sisters. How was it inside of your house growing up?
Yeah. So I grew up, born and raised in South Central LA, what they call the low bottoms, meaning that the area right after downtown, like say like Washington Boulevard, up, you know, up to like Jefferson. Low bottoms. Grew up in a Mexican household. My dad's from Nayarit.
Oh, we're both Coras?
Yeah, Cora for sure. But my mom's from Tamaulipas, so you know, two different mentalities, but still, a lot to learn from both sides. So grew up in a Mexican household. Me personally, I got brothers. I got two brothers older and a sister that's a year older. But me personally, grew up a good kid. Good, quiet, shy kid. Through the 80s. Definitely was fun times, for those that remember the 80s or that were, privileged to be from those times, especially where we're from, because downtown is close by and, USC, the village, all the whole USC campus, the sports arena, and so much for us to go out and do our little adventure thing, and run around, before the internet
that's
and
what I
all
was going to
that.
say. So basically born in the 70s and teen and like young kid years in the 80s.
In the 80s, yeah. But I was born in 78.
Okay.
So, I pretty much, grew up into the 80s. Even though the area we're from, it was already gangs and stuff, the older gangs were already out there. We weren't really, as little kids, we weren't paying attention to that. We're just having fun, riding our bikes and
Playing outside
yeah,
with the
playing
canicas.
outside.
shit
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
canicas for sure. We weren't afraid to get dirty, that's for sure. It ain't like nowadays, everybody gotta keep your kids' hands sanitized. But back then, hell no, we used to even eat the dirt off our fingernails,
I do.
Yeah, so that's how it began for me, and pretty cool in the beginning. Not until I guess when my brother started getting at like a teenage age.
Are you the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Pues con razón. You followed your brothers.
Yep. And so, but me being the youngest, my mom would always be on me, and my pops, whatever, they'll make sure, since my brothers already started kind of messing around at a certain teenage age, they were making sure that they try not to make me follow in their steps, but when you're a kid, you always want to follow in your brother's steps, especially if you see them doing stuff that intrigues you, right? Like,
And it
you're
looks cool, especially like it's different, you know?
yeah, and they started dressing a certain way, and then the movies started coming out, like Colors, and then we used to watch Boulevard Nights a lot, and so the whole gang culture was catching my attention. Obviously, my brothers as well, because they were already starting to, hop out the porch, as they say now, like go out there and,
Yeah, the shirts
experience it.
with the little.
The jerseys, back then. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because prior to the whole getting intrigued by the gang culture, we used to like breakdancing, right? Well, at least my brothers, when the movies Breaking and Beach Street and all those old breaking movies, my brothers were into it. And I remember that everyone would wear the little the jerseys, crop top jerseys.
These was wearing crop tops way
the
before
guys,
us.
the guys. Yeah, they had it. They had it for sure. They had it. I wanted one bad.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
these fools thought they were doing something new with the crop tops, huh?
nah, we kicked it off in 83, 84. So yeah, that's a memory for sure that I remember, the whole breakdance movement, and everybody wanted to be breakdancing on the street, on the cardboard, and all that.
Even if you were a cholo vibe. Like,
yeah. Even the ones. Yeah,
I went like this just so I could do the move. That's the only reason, you guys.
Yeah, even the guys that were already, like messing around on the street, like that was part of their get down. As well as at some time, even tagging was, being a tag. Even in the 80s, late 80s, I remember that gang members were even tagging on the side type deal. So it was everyone just experiencing what was going on at the times. Until you really establish yourself to
like,
one
what are you
thing.
Gonna do?
Yeah. And but I was just a kid, and just following my brothers around, and then until they started getting kind of more deeper into it, deeper into it, and then I wanted to be a part of it for sure,
Bad too, huh?
Yeah, really bad.
You had a ducktail too?
We did have ducktails, all of us, hair to the back, hairnet, but with a ducktail coming down the back, and a lot of people nowadays tend to like kind of connect that to other sides of California,
but it's really not.
But we were doing that, we were doing that back then.
I was going to say something terrible. I'm glad I didn't say it.
Why not? Say it.
This was just stood behind.
Yeah. That's what it was. Like a lot of people are like 10 years behind. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that all these things were like inner city. So a lot of people didn't know it, and mind you, there was no social media, so there's no way people. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you probably find some old news footage from then,
or like, because they already had MTV, no?
And MTV, yeah, they had MTV for sure in the 80s, yeah. But like I'm talking about like inner city, like when the news would go and try to interview gang culture, because it was it was
different. It was popping.
Yep, and you can see that people got their long tails in the back, and their jerseys that you're talking about. So there's still the history's still there, and
That's
me,
right.
I like when I come to the interviews, because it's almost like I give nostalgia to people, because I can talk about these things, I remember them.
That's
right. And it's starting to, once we get out of the business, like it's gonna die out. No one's gonna talk about it anymore. So
that's right.
I want to leave that stand behind.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah. And yeah, for sure. Eventually, one of my brothers went to jail in 1990, and at this time I was still kind of not fully out there on the street as a part of it.
Because you were probably like 11, 12 years old.
Yeah. And then my brothers would protect me from really being out there. So I always had a curfew. I had to come back if I was running around out there. But once my brother got caught up, and in a case that that something happened out there, and the whole that when it kicked off, like I said, during the 80s, everything was fun and games. But once 1990 came,
it was a whole different ball game.
Yeah, as soon as that year came, and I get it. I know, a lot of established neighborhoods that are older than ours. Obviously, they've been going through it since
prior.
60s, 70s. But me, when I speak on, because a lot of people, when I tell my story and I talk about 1990, a lot of people like they question it like, man, this been going on since 90, but it's since before 90. But I'm not talking about everyone
You're
else.
speaking about yourself
my story,
and,
you know,
and your environment and where you're from, of course.
Yeah, so that in 1990 was when it kicked off for us, meaning gun violence. You know, that's when my first homie that got killed, it happened in 90, you know, like May, and it changed everything, you know. That's when it just became what it became and what it is till this day, you know.
I normally don't ever even, I always say, and I don't know, when I always say, where are you from? I don't mean the gang, but I'm gonna ask if you don't, if you wanna tell us where you're from.
Yeah, no, I'm from the Ghetto Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's in South Central, the Low Bottoms.
Because people are gonna be like, "Hi, Negra, why do you always say that?" So, you know.
No, I mean, hey, I'm a grown ass man already. You know, I've been there, done that, and it's been. I've been in those files since a little kid. You know.
Already, yeah.
Yep. So it's like it's not a big deal for me as it might be for somebody that's out there right now, you know, doing their thing. You know?
Of course.
But yeah, and once my brother went to jail, like I said, it changed everything on the street, but it obviously changed everything in my household.
Yes.
Because now it's like, now the whole focus is on that, and we're worrying about what's gonna happen because it was a big case, you know. He ended up doing or catching a juvenile life, you know, which meant the whole
25.
Yeah, going to YA till you're a certain age, so you're 25, and then
how did you feel about that? Like when your family was going through that, you know, you're watching your mom, because this is a different experience for your mom, for your dad, and it's nothing easy to watch your son go through that. You know, us, you know, having our Mexican moms, and you know, just obviously you see the environment and you hear maybe the other señoras, ay, mi hijo, this, whatever, but it's not you and it's not your house. But now you're 12 years old and now your house is going through this. How did that take toll on you guys?
Well, it's crazy because right before they came and got him, when the cops, it was already word on since it was so new in that neighborhood, you know, that gun violence like that. Everybody was talking about it, right? I was in elementary school still, so I remember being at school, and then the kids were talking about it, and they were talking about, did you hear what happened, and this and that.
And you're at school.
Yeah, and I'm just eavesdropping, right? And they're like, yeah, they're saying that it came from this house over here, and they're talking about my house, and they're talking about, yeah, my brother is from this neighborhood, and I overheard them talking about they're gonna go do something over there
to your house.
Yeah,
and
I'm listening to this shit, you know. So I'm like,
¿Y tú calladito?
Yeah, I'm just listening, but I'm like, oh damn, like they're talking about, you know, my brothers, you know, and my house. So I remember going back home and telling my family, my brothers, telling them, hey, this is what they're saying over there, the kids, and they're like, that we already know, you know. Don't worry about it. We're gonna figure it out. So that same night, my brothers were like, everybody's sleeping on the floor tonight.
Facts.
Yeah, you know, and imagine my mom, you know.
I know.
Yeah, like, so this is the first time. I mean, they were already kind of getting into some stuff before this came.
Pero no así, not like this.
Not like that, but you can tell that it was escalating already, you know, and my brothers were really involved in all that stuff. So my mom and my dad were already really upset with them because they can kind of sense where everything was going. And when they came and gave the news that, hey, this is what's going on and we're going to have to all sleep on the floor tonight. And yeah, you know, obviously my pops got upset with them and dealt with them however he had to deal with them. And my mom, you know, her worry was more like, okay, let's start putting stuff on the windows, like boxes full of clothes, you know, and like we didn't run, you know, like we didn't like everyone get your stuff. Where are you going to your tias or now? We said, hey, we're sleeping on the floor. Yeah, we're sleeping on the floor. And mind you, the people we were beefing with at the time are only 2 blocks away, you know, so it's like it ain't like oh, they might or they might not.
And it's literally 2 blocks away.
Yeah, literally, 2 blocks away. So we knew they were coming, but we weren't Well, I mean, me as a kid, I'm kind of like, I'm not scared. I'm more like, wow, it's like watching a movie to me, like, mind you, at that point I was already intrigued with the lifestyle that they were doing. So to me it was like I wanted to, I wish I was old enough to help out, because my brothers and my dad and everybody, they didn't go to sleep on the floor. They were outside waiting,
Did they come?
Well, we were waiting for them to come. And
how did they come?
The detectives came before they did.
Well, hey, at least nobody got hurt. At least there, right? That moment they came before they even decided to come to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the detectives came, and they already had the whole scoop. Like, they came and got my brother for what was going on, And I remember my brother telling me, like, hey, because I guess they're taking turns, I guess, because he came and laid down for a bit, and when they came and got him, he was like, hey, he has something with him, and he's like, here, hide it. And I remember now I'm feeling like, damn, I finally can do something, I can help, by hiding that.
He told you to hide it.
Yeah, he had a little thing with him, So he was like, hey, when he's seen that it was the cops, he was like, here, like, hide it. And I felt excitement, like, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I want to put it inside a shoe and do the shoe under the bed or something. I don't know what I did, but
you liked the feeling.
Yeah, for that moment.
The point is, what you're trying to say is, like, you like that feeling that you were able to be there with your brothers and help out.
Issue,
and they trusted you enough.
Mm-hmm. And they took him away, and obviously now the family is like, damn, like shit. Now we got something to deal with, Aside from we were something else to deal with, at least, because just because the detectives came doesn't mean that these guys ain't coming back, And
they just took one brother. You still have two more at home.
Yeah, no, I have one more.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one more. And then I had my dad still at the time, so but what happened there was more like everything my brother left behind, meaning his shoes, his clothes, his bed, like I became him, I started wearing all that stuff, and my brother's silent. He's the original Silent. I'm Little Silent. At the time I wasn't, but I was starting to become Little Silent right there. I started to become the part because
we even took over his bed.
Yeah, because I was so happy that now, because my mom wasn't gonna buy me that clothes
for sure.
But she didn't mind me wearing it because she didn't want to buy clothes at all. We were broke. So.
And she didn't tell you anything, like, hey, hijo de la chingada, why are you wearing this?
She did, but at the same time, it was like I didn't have much clothes at the time,
So it made it
she
easier
didn't mind
for her.
it. Yeah, she didn't mind it. She thought I was just too little for it to even affect me. She thought, oh, he just wants to wear the clothes because he ain't got no clothes and he feels like he has new clothes now. But she didn't know really the effects it was having on me. I was really feeling the part already,
Yeah.
Yeah. So and loving it too,
Yeah.
So that's where it started for me. At that moment when they took my brother away, meaning that's where I was already feeling like it's time, it's time for like I would look in the mirror, like I would have dressed up and I'm like, damn, like
she looks super firme.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I can pull this off,
Yeah.
But it didn't really come to fruition for me, the streets, until my dad passed away.
Was it after, how many years?
2 years later.
Oh, so not even that much after.
No, not even that much, because from 90 to 92, although I was already hanging out, because in 90, I went to junior high, and all my homies were there. The ones that became my homies, but they were already my brother's homies, and they knew who I was already. They knew my brothers were who they were.
Yes.
So they accepted me, as the little homie, right? I was a little tiny thing, and they were already, let's say back then it was 6th to 9th grade, I believe. Yeah, 6th.
No, it was 7th and 8th. 7th, 8th, and 9th, yeah.
So I was a 7th grader, and they were all 9th graders.
You thought you were super cool.
Yeah, so they accepted me in the group as, and I was the smallest one. Yeah, that's where it started for me in school, where I started hanging out with the homies, and then obviously with them showing love because of my brothers and my brother that was locked up, and showing love because what he was locked up for, was the first incident like that ever happened
from your guys'
from my hood, and so and my brother was the one that retaliated, so it was just like, oh hell yeah, like this.
That's a little homie's brother.
Yeah,
That's homie's brother.
So
Yeah,
they showing love, and that made me want to for sure be a part of it all the way through. And yeah, that's what happened. But between 90 and 92, when my dad passed away, my parents were really strict still, like with me mainly because of what happened to my brother, and then my other brother that was, out there still kind of in the mix of that. So they were trying to protect me from being the next one,
And your sister, she was just...
My sister, she was doing her own thing at the time, pero también she has her story of her wanting to be involved, and eventually
she had a cholo boyfriend for sure.
Stuff like that, and eventually she, involved herself, for the time being until she became a mom and things changed for her. Pero and that's that time, it was I was just like it's just me, I was just like me, and I'm, mind you, in these years, gangster rap was very big, like meaning like Ice Cube or NWA and the black artists that make gangster rap, and I was into that as well, and what they talk about, kind of feeds that mentality, like even though I wasn't on the street living it, I was listening to it on the music, so I was like, but
like, you were still seeing it with your with your brothers, and obviously
just outside the porch,
just outside,
because we lived in my neighborhood, like where my neighborhood is considered the heart of my neighborhood. My house is right there, so that's why I was able to see so much just from my porch, even though my parents wouldn't want me to go out to the street at that time. I was so young, but my brothers would bring the homies to the house, and I would be right there, and I would feel part of it for that meanwhile till they left, right? And they would treat me like that. The homies would look, like the little homie, they give me a nickname, whatever, so they make you feel part of it, and so that's how it was for me until the time where my dad passed away in
2 years
92.
after.
Yeah. He got killed, but this happened in Mexico, in Nayarit, because he was doing his own little hustle thing over there, Yeah, so he would always be back and forth from Mexico to the house. So when we were growing up as kids, we would go to Mexico a lot, So those were one of the good times in the 80s for us, going to Mexico and just enjoying, because we're from the straight rancho over there, So the lifestyle that we would experience over there was
completely different, especially
beautiful.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
And I say that because my family's from a rancho as well. Yeah. And I would go 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
And it was like the best. Like there I still had to water with the manguera, all of that. I had to wake up and go get the tortillas for my grandma.
Yeah, so
things
much,
like that.
No, us we went through the whole thing. We like literally like homes didn't even have toilets.
You had to go outside.
Yeah, you had to go up behind a tree somewhere up in a little hill, and they didn't have warm water. You could take cold showers, like not unless you want to wait till they heat some water up for you, but they're not trying to do that. Nobody does that. We used to ask for that, and coming from the United States, and they'll laugh at us, dude. Like they'll be like, "What?" Like these fools are like. They're what's the
it's
word?
not even that hot. It's not even cold over there.
Nah.
¿No quiere calentar el agua?
Yeah, it's just that once it hits you for that one time, it shocks you, and that's it. You can handle it. But yeah, we grew up in that type of lifestyle as kids, and it was lovely, But once we started getting involved into the street life, we really didn't care to go over there anymore, And it sucks because it's now that I'm older and I'm like, dang, like. I wish it was still that way, But
you said in 1992 your dad passed away in Mexico. Did you guys have to go over there to get your dad? Like, how did that go for you guys?
What's crazy about that is that we get the call one day, like, hey, your dad got killed over here, and now we're going through that at the home, like
now
my
you're
mom.
Like 13.
Yeah. Now I'm actually already hanging out on the street a little bit, like on my own, like because I remember when they told me, I was out on the street with the homies on our main boulevard, and I was already dressing, you know, like,
G-Dup.
yeah, I already had my 501s. I had one of these on already, you know, and then I remember they came and told me, I forgot who told me, but they're like, hey, your dad passed away, and so I'm like, what, you know, like. So I'm a kid, so I don't know how to take it, you know, and plus I'm already involved with the homies, so you can't really show that type of emotion, you know, so I'm just like, oh, you know, like just kind of just swallowed it and just kind of just, okay, like, and I went home, and that's when I seen like my mom in distress, and, you know, my brother's super upset, you know, because my dad got killed, and not like he died natural causes, you know, someone killed him.
It's a different effect, yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, my dad was already paralyzed from being shot years prior.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so to think that someone can do that to my dad, where he's kind of defenseless in a way, you know, even though he was, you know, he did his thing, you know, but, you know, as you know, a son, your main thing is like, I want to know who did it, you know, like I want to know who did it. But then again, you think it's like, this is Mexico, dude. Like we're way, we got no business
going over there,
or not going, but more like trying to find out who did it or none of that, you know, because we didn't know how. Obviously now all that stuff is on social media, but back then you don't know how deep these problems are, right?
Yeah.
So, but getting back to that call in Mexico, when someone passes away, they literally do their viewing the next morning.
They bury them the next day.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Because we got the call that day, and we hopped on the plane that night to go to Nayarit, and when we landed, they took us to the rancho, and when we got to the rancho, his body was in the casket in our home in the rancho, right? So it was like
doing the velorio.
Yeah, the velorios. Imagine that, like you just walking into it fresh out of the.
Dang,
you know, yeah,
that's intense.
Yeah, you didn't even get a chance to relax, you know. So yeah, that was the experience, you know. When it came to that with my dad, and obviously, like my sister was a daddy's girl, so that devastated her. My brother was he lost it because, not lost it, but he went through it. He was like, he was upset, you know, really upset because he was already you know, had the gangster mentality, and he wished he can do something for my dad, you know, but it's just hard over there. And my other brother was doing YA, so he never even got a chance to. Matter of fact, he didn't even know. We didn't want to tell him. We didn't want to tell him. We told him eventually, not when we got back, but we didn't want to tell him when it happened because he was young as well, you know. So we didn't want it to affect him, you know, how we assumed it would, because we seen how my brother and my sister and everybody. I kind of was the only one that didn't, like. I don't know. It just kind of it was something I couldn't believe it, you know. Like not until we were putting the dirt over his casket was when it really hit me, you know, like where I was like, oh shit, you know, like that's it, you know,
real, yeah.
I'm not gonna see him no more, you know, because before he would go to Mexico, it wasn't a big deal. He'll come back, so it felt like one of those where it's like, oh well, he's just not here, but I guess I didn't realize he wasn't coming back until I threw the dirt on top of him, you know, and that's when it hit me. That's when I felt the emotion of it. So
at least you felt emotion.
Yeah, I let it out at least. You know, some people hold an emotion the rest of their life, and it ruins their
everything about them.
Ruins how they approach life the rest of their life.
Super unhealthy, yeah, super unhealthy.
Yeah, so that happened, and when we headed back to United States, now my mom is super busy, obviously grieving and dealing with everything my dad left behind, because my dad left, you know, like terrenos, and he had a home that he left in the rancho, and he had a lot of stuff that he left behind, and my mom had to deal with that now. So now she's not only grieving, she has to deal with all this stuff. So now, you know, like I told you, it was hard for me to really hang out with the homies because my mom and my dad were on me still. But at that point, no one's on me no more because my mom is focused somewhere else now.
She's too busy.
Yeah, and I took the opportunity to really be out now, you know. Although she would still be on me a little bit, well, she would tell my brothers to be on me, like, hey, you know, like take care of him. Because my brother was still out. My brother was still out there in the mix, so my mom would kind of just tell him, hey, he's out there now, so just kind of keep an eye on him.
Like she didn't give up, but she accepted the fact that
Yeah, I'm already part of it.
you're already part of it. She's by herself. She's grieving, and now she has to take care of you guys by herself.
Yeah. And with my brother as well, because my brother now at that time, he had already had a little hustle mentality, you know, like he wasn't just a gangbanger or on the street doing nothing, and he was already like
Making money.
making his little money, you know. And with that being said, he kind of stepped up to be like the man of the house, you know.
Aye.
Yeah. So with that,
Is that him?
yeah, that's him right there, and he's still around to this day doing that.
That's
you know,
right.
for us, you know.
Yes.
And with that being said, I definitely started hanging out, but my brother took it upon himself to kind of take me under his wing. Meaning, like, yeah, he allowed it for me to be a part of it, but he made sure that I was with him most of the time.
And doing and moving right.
Yeah,
most
yeah,
importantly,
yeah,
moving
yeah,
correctly.
yeah.
If you're gonna be out there, you're gonna move correctly because I'm
Yeah.
gonna teach you, and you're with me.
Yeah. And then
Kind of vibes, right?
Yep. And since my brother was doing his thing, he always had money to take us places, so the homies would want to hang out with my brother a lot. So now, to me, I didn't mind being with my brother because everyone was there. All the homies was there. So even though my mom felt comfortable with me being with my brother, everyone felt comfortable being with my brother. All the homies were there, and my house became the hangout spot, and also became the spot, and it was just the spot, you know. So to me, I was like, yeah, even though you guys don't want me on the street, but the house became
The street.
The street, you know, it was part of the hood. So
That's the hood house.
Yep, it was. You know, we call it the G house because that was the hood house, right in the heart of my neighborhood. So I didn't mind it, you know. I didn't mind it that everything was happening in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know.
Made it easier for you.
Yep. And then as I was young, you know, obviously as you get older, you have to be on the street and you have to prove
Do your
yourself.
thing, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, as what all this comes with, right?
Not I'm just hanging out.
Yeah. No, eventually you have to really, you know, be out there and not just be, like you said. So that's what opened the door for me. When my dad passed away, my mom kind of lost focus just on me and had to do so much things. And I eventually had to, when she really accepted it was when I had to drop out of high school due to, being in the wrong side of town high school, right? Like it was people that didn't like my homies, you know, and I was, you know, like had to go through some there, and until they were like, hey, you know,
You can't go to school.
yeah. Well, the word on the school was that they're gonna try to get me, you know, because of stuff that was going on the street, and I was kind of the closest thing to them.
Yeah.
And they were like, the word of what, like, you know, back then there was no social media, so it was just all word of mouth. So people were hearing, and they told me, hey, they're talking about that they're gonna get you today, and I was like, sheesh,
Dang.
like I was like, damn, I think I'm at the.
Not go back to school.
Not go back to school, but I actually did go back another day. I went back, but this time I took something with me, you know, because I just wanted. I don't know. I took too much pride to like just run, you know. Like I was like,
part of it.
Yeah, like
I don't just what.
Yeah.
This was like, I'm gonna go back to
yeah.
school.
But they were saying that they were gonna before they would say like just hands on, and I didn't mind it. But when they said they was gonna do something
Yes.
to me like with something else. That's when I was like, okay, then that's not fair no more, you know. Like
Yeah,
let
that's
me
different.
bring something too, you know, at least to make it fair. But when I got there, I kind of I guess I thought about it, and it was too far from my home and from my neighborhood. So in order to, if something did go wrong, like how the fuck am I gonna get all the way back to my homies, you know, like so. I was like, you know what? I think it's just. I think I shouldn't even be over here. This is not even my neighborhood. You
But
know.
What school? Like how? There's no high schools in your area? Or you
Not
got
at the
kicked out?
time. Not at the time. All the high schools were in a couple miles away. Now they have one there, close by, and now I think now they built a bunch of them. But this was after while I was in jail, where they started building new stuff. But
Yeah.
in the '90s, like if the school wasn't in your neighborhood, you have to go to a rival neighborhood
This
if
is
you
what it is, yeah.
want to go to school.
Yeah.
You know, this was early on in high school where I couldn't really just tell my mom, hey, I just don't want to go to school because I'm a bum. No, like it has to be a real
Like,
good
Mom,
reason.
I can't go to school because of this reason.
Yeah,
And
so-
she understood.
So she caught because she would take me to school anyways. Even though that happened, even though I knew I couldn't go back, like I couldn't tell her right away. So she'll drive me over there to drop me off to school, and I'll just walk back. Like I'll make her believe that I was in school, but I wasn't. Not until she caught me. She caught me not in school. She caught me on the street, and she told me, "Well, why?" You know, she got mad. Like, why you make me take you to school?
You're wasting my time. Fool.
Yeah, you know, and like you're not even in school. And I had to tell her, look, I can't go to school no more. At least I was, I can't go to school no more because you know, it's not safe. Meaning something could happen to me.
Yeah,
you know?
well, it's not safe.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm sure she understood.
Yeah, she did. You know, and it hurt her, and she felt bad, but she accepted it. She didn't she didn't even, you know, she just kind of just shook her head like, damn, you know, like that's where we're at now, you know.
Yeah, pero de otro.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
But because I was, like I told you, I grew up a shy kid, a quiet kid, so I guess I was the hope for the family. Meaning, like, he's not gonna be. No one ever thought, like, if you knew me as a little kid, you would never thought that I would go through what I ended up going through, because, you know, kids that are like that they kind of just stick to themselves and they like school and all that. And me, even though I didn't grow up looking the part as a little kid, a troublemaker, you know, wasn't a troublemaker. It's just the lifestyle just brought me to it, and it wasn't the violence of the lifestyle. It was more like just the, you know, like seeing the homies, you know, like hanging out, making money, you know, smoking the little herb and it was
dressing
just,
a certain way.
Yeah, it looked fun, you know. It looked like something that's cool, you know, like without knowing that that crowd of friends would eventually grow into something, you know, that became bigger and that came with a lot of consequences, you know, behind our actions.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that's how all that started for me.
So as a teenager, you never got arrested.
Yeah, I did. I went to the halls a couple of times for you know, vandalism, writing on the wall, getting caught in raids. Like, they were raid. Like, we used to hang out in a park, and it was, you know, we used to slang out there straight up. Like in the 90s, you sell whatever you sell right there on the sidewalk. You know, it was pretty much the crack era. You know, the crack era started in the 80s, but in the 90s it was full blown. And I'm talking about, it'll be 10 of us out there, 10 homies, and we can all make a couple $100 a day. And we're just kids. We're all teenagers. You know. Yeah, I got older homies that were doing their thing as well in a bigger scale, but, you know, doing it, you know, they were ballers, what they used to say back then. Us, we were just curb servers, you know. But the ones that did have a good mind to save their money and do more, eventually escalated to be that baller, you know. But I never had that mentality to do that. I just wanted just a few bucks to survive the day, you know. Like, my mentality was never really to get up there like that. I just wanted to, you know, just enough to you know, buy a little herb, you know, get a little drink, you know, or if we're going to the movies or something, just, you know, have enough to pay for it. Yeah, just for you to
survive for the day, like you said.
Yep. So
but what was the longest time you did in juvenile hall?
No, just months.
Okay, well, so tell me about your first time. Like, you get arrested, and they take you, like, your first time actually going in and doing time.
Yeah.
Because a few months is a few months.
Yeah,
like,
it was just kind of waiting on the courts. Eventually, they dropped the case because the cops didn't show up, because what happened was they raided our home. And they also raided my brother's home. So they had both of us detained at the moment while they were searching around, you know. And they found something, you know. So obviously no one's copping to it, you know. We're just saying
it's just there.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know who it is, you know.
It's just there.
Yeah. So typical police back then, when they had us in the station, they're obviously telling us, well, if you guys don't cop to it, we're taking your mom. you know, and I'm just like it's not my mom's, it's not my brother's, it's not mine's. But if it's down to that, then just take me. But I'm not saying it's mine, but at least take me for it.
Yeah, don't take my mom. Yeah.
My whole thing was like, don't take my mom. You know, like she has nothing to do with nothing. But eventually they, my bro got the same story. I didn't tell your mom, so my bro was like, you know what, he said it's mine. You know. So they came and told me, hey, your bro is just gonna take the rap for it. I'm like, all right, and they're just like, well, at least that's what they told me. Honestly, I don't know if that's what he really said.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously they were like, you know what, your bro's taking the rap for it, and we're not taking your mom, but we are taking you as well. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So why are you taking me for it if you know it's not even mine or whatever the case you're talking about? They're like, hey, you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like.
That's when you went to go do a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Tell me about you walking into the juvenile hall. Obviously, you watched the movies.
Yeah.
You know, how was it for you? Like, you walking in, your brother was with you?
No, my brother was already an adult. He might have been 18 barely,
Okay.
you know. So he went his route and I went my route. So we went separately. And my first initial take on the place was I grew up watching Boulevard Nights.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I never knew this, but when in that movie when they take him to juvenile hall, it's actually Eastlake Central Juvenile Hall. It's the real place. I didn't know that. I thought it was just
Make believe.
a make believe thing, but they processed me through that same process from the movie. So I was like more like, whoa, like damn, this is where they made that movie. So you gotta remember, like I grew up before I was on the street, like just glamorizing and admiring all this stuff. So to me, I'm like, oh shit, like I
It's really happening.
Yeah, I'm going through this, like what I always wanted to really be.
Experience, yeah.
The experience. Obviously, it wasn't a big case, so I wasn't devastated and stressed out. I was just like, hey, I'm here for the experience now, and yeah, I was just kind of just taking it in one step at a time. It was my first time, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I don't have that great a memory because I'm already getting older. But I do remember like I do remember like the things, the things that stood out, like that for sure stood out. And I remember then they took us to the gymnasium, where that's kind of where you wait to get your housing. It's kind of like the R&R of the juvenile system. And
I've been to it as well.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's yeah, it was an experience, and obviously there's a lot of youngsters right there, and everybody's just, where you from, and bang, and this and then, like people just taking off on each other.
Did you get in a fight your first time?
No, not my first time. Just one time where it was a second time that I went, and that time was okay. I like we did talk shit to each other, like fools that were like on this side.
Because now
you
already been back twice. Now you already been back, so now you already know what's happening.
Yeah,
you're probably already feeling yourself.
No, the second time I went, I already had I already had tattoos.
Oh,
mind you, back then it ain't like now, like where everyone's all written on their face and all that. Back then, even just a chest tattoo was like, whoa, this guy's
this was tatted
that fool, he really out there. This fool's really out there, because you can't just have tattoos back then, because you really get stereotyped or I don't know. It's just back then was different.
No,
if you really
it was
had
completely
tattoos,
different.
Yeah, if you really had tattoos, you were really like you didn't get.
Wait, let me ask you this though. So you walk in there, you already have a tattoo, right?
Yeah.
You took off your shirt and you wanted to show it off?
Yeah, hell yeah. Or whenever the showers and all that stuff, like, because everybody's looking at them.
Yeah.
Like it ain't like everyone just walking by. Now everyone's like trying to read them and hey, or what does it say, or So I remember that for sure. The tattoos really caught people's attention, but. One other memory that I do have, is that for those that know, I do music, right? I was already making music in them times. Not
because you started listening to, like you said,
I grew up listening,
in 1991, 92, before your dad passed away. You were already into the music.
Yeah. So at some point in my time, in my early mid-teens, like when I was like 15, I guess, 14, 15, I started making music, like just writing it. And eventually I started recording myself on my sister's tape deck with a little cheap $5 mic. But hey, it worked, right? And then I was, letting the homies listen to it, and they were feeling it because all I'm doing is talking about my neighborhood and gangbanging on my music. So everybody was into it. But when I went to Juvenile Hall one time, we were in the day room, and they were having just like, hey, we're like
a talent show kind of thing?
Like a talent show, I guess, right? And then they were asking all the black youngsters, like, hey, who knows how to rap? Who knows how to rap? And they're like, I do, and boom, they're doing beats on the table, and and they're rapping and stuff, right? So the staff goes, I know there's gotta be a Mexican here that can rap, I know there's gotta be one. And my bunkie at the time, or whatever they called him back then, my grown roommate or whatever, I don't remember what we called each other. I know that Sally's is in prison and stuff, but yeah, my fucking Sally right there, he was like, because he knew I had already told him, like, yeah, I rapping on the street, and he's like, well, tell him you rap. I was like, hell nah. And he told the staff, hey, he could rap.
So you rapped.
And he was like, oh, you can rap? Let's see. Do a beat on the table. And so I got on top of the stool, and I just started rapping one of my songs. And mind you, I gangbang on my songs. So, I was right there like disrespecting and hoods and everything. But there was nobody really there that was
like there was
that was directed to, right? Pero still, everybody was like, oh, they've never heard nothing like that.
Like this fool could rap.
Yep. So I'm not gonna lie, I got a standing ovation in there. Yeah,
that's a good memory.
Yeah,
people would be like, "Oh, that's not a good memory," but no, it is a good memory because
it became. I eventually my story, in the long run, has a lot to do with music. So to me, that was something that it actually inspired me to want to keep doing it. Because for a bunch of youngsters that are from different neighborhoods, to acknowledge your talent,
like that shit was cool.
Yeah, to me, I was like, I think I got something. I got something here. But obviously, it wasn't my focus at the time. At the time, I just wanted to be a standout gang member. Gang member, and do what I had to do. Yeah, those were not some, like I said, my stay there wasn't that long.
Yeah.
But I did have little standout moments where that I remember. I spent Christmas there. And
how was that?
I remember it was all right.
Your mom went to go visit you?
My mom would go visit me. Yeah, this was when I was in Sylmar. Because I've been to LP, I've been to Eastlake, and I've been to Sylmar. Obviously, short stays, but I experienced it, and I know what it is. So you don't have to be there long enough to know what it is. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's all dead time. There's nothing really there. Don't get me wrong. It did help a lot of young homies finish school in there because you get your credits so fast.
Wait, did you get your?
I was getting some credits, but since I didn't stay there that long, I couldn't finish it. I eventually got my GED probably like 20 years later in prison, but
well, you got it.
Yeah, I did. And I got it on my first try. And I can talk about that. Later on, but. Yeah, I did notice that my credits were building in Juvenile Hall. I was like, oh, man, maybe I can, damn, like, that was the only thing I did miss because I hated school on the street. And I wasn't even going to school anymore. So that's the only thing that I was like, damn, like, I think I am bright enough to finish school, but just the streets,
so
they called me over and it was over, like, that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life.
So that's what you continue to do. You were just in Juvenile Hall, came home. Obviously, you didn't go to school.
No school.
And then by then, you already turned 18.
Yeah.
And you're still doing your music when you.
Yeah. So obviously, between being an adult, 18, and my going through all that, the streets pretty vicious. Everyone knows the 90s, was a vicious time. And so yeah, a lot of funerals that we attended, a lot of back and forth with enemies, and I've been shot. My brother's been shot. My house has been shot.
How old were you when you got shot the first time?
I was probably like, it was right before I turned, I think I might have been like 17 maybe. Like it was already, I mean, I've been shot at so many times prior to that. And everyone around, all my homies, it's like this. Everyone's waiting their turn to get shot. You know, not that you want to get shot.
No, but it's like you're literally looking forward to it.
Yeah, because you're there. You're always there. You know, like there's times where it's you and two of the homies and someone's gonna get shot out from the three, right?
Yeah.
And then it's the homie, and then another time we get shot at, and then it's the other homie, and it's. I think probably every homie's been shot, you know. Yep, and I knew it was gonna happen, so I was just hoping it wasn't, you know, the last one, right?
Yeah.
Or the one that's going to.
And where did you get
out.
shot at, or
I got
what?
shot in my back. And
dang.
And the crazy part about that is that on one of my juvenile hall stays, my probation officer. He went over and because they were trying to violate my probation, which was why I was over there. The probation department raided my house and found a bunch of. Because back then, I don't know how it is now, but if you're on juvenile probation and they raid your house, even if they find a Teen Angel magazine, if they find a belt with your gang letter on it, if they find baggy pants, anything gang affiliated, or some writing on a napkin that says a gang or your nickname, you're getting violated. Mm-hmm. And so that's what happened with me. They went over there and they found photo albums of my homies, you know, me with the homies, and you know the typical what we do, right? We keep a lot of memories, you know, as we're going through this whole lifestyle. And they found it. They violated me. They took me back to East Lake, and then
you were shot at this point already.
No, that one happened after. Happened after. This one was the probation, when it was my court date, he showed up and he told me, look, I'll tell the judge that to let you go to your mom today, but you have to go to school. He told me, you have to go to school. And I was like, hell yeah, you know, like I wasn't planning to go to school, but I you know, I'm like,
I'm gonna say whatever I gotta say.
Yeah. So I told him, yeah, I'll go to school. And he's like, all right. He told the judge, hey, I'm taking him with the agreement that he's gonna go to school, and if not, he's coming back. So they let me go to my mom, and I actually, when my mom was like, hey, you know what, you make that agreement, we're gonna find you a school. I couldn't go to regular school because I didn't have enough credits, but they found a continuation school for me. And it
was close, or no?
It was close to my neighborhood, but it wasn't my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But the people that from that neighborhood, we really didn't have problems with, but we didn't get along with. Like we weren't friends, but you know, but we didn't have any issues. So I was able to go to that school. I couldn't go to any. Trust me, I tried. My mom would take me. Here's a one. I was like, I can't go here. Okay, let's go to this next one. I can't go here. I can't go here. Okay, can you go to this small one right here? Yeah, I think I can go there. And I started going to that school, and I wasn't doing nothing. I was just showing up, you know.
Hey, at least you were going.
Yeah. I was just kind of just wanted the probation to know I was going to school, well, the whole point is that when I got shot, it happened from me walking from that school to the hood. Yeah, because it was just 2 blocks away from where we hung out.
You're kidding.
Yeah. But I honestly think that the people that I told you from that class, which they really didn't like us, but we didn't have problems, so they really didn't try anything on me. But I think they tipped somebody off because it was to me it was really strange that as soon as I walked out of school, they came, they turned, they hit the corner on me.
Yeah.
You know, and this was in the morning, you know, so I figured that, hey, someone told him that this is my route. This is how I walk from school to the homies.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure enough, once I hit the corner, that car pulled up and just started letting off. Yeah. But I seen how I watched them. I was watching them the whole time because, you know, it wasn't like it was a low key car. It was like, you know, it was a hooked up car or whatever. And also, so I knew it was somebody.
Hey, in that situation, obviously you're 17 years old, right? And you're like in front of school.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? Like when your probation officer came, like, bro, I'm going to school and I'm getting shot. Like, what is the process? Like, what did you have to go through? You know what I mean?
Well, they never found out. The probation never found out.
That you got shot?
No, yeah, they never found out. I stopped going to school, but everybody in school knew that I got shot because it happened close by. And the word was already like, oh, they shot Silent, you know, so it was the word. So the teachers knew, and they didn't call the probation. Now, they didn't make a issue about it. They were just like, oh, poor guy, you know, like, you know, he comes to school every day. You know, it's messed up that leaving school he gets shot, you know. So yeah, they didn't press issue on me. So I managed to somehow, even though I wasn't going to school, to have my peers that were still in school sign papers for me for probation, like attendance notes and the grade. You know how they do your grades.
Yeah.
And I would
like
have
an everyday slip.
Yep, and I would have people sign it. Like I would have people forge, you know, the teacher's signature and all that, and I would present that to the probation officer. And I did that up until I turned 18. And once you turn 18, your juvenile probation goes away. So I managed to fraud my way out of that one.
He didn't say fraud, guys.
Oh, sorry. Bleep that out, please. Yeah, but.
Many moons ago.
Yeah. So that's how that's how my juvenile life ended, you know?
There you go.
And on comes
the worst part.
Yeah, the worst part. And right away, just a couple months later, we're out there doing our thing, you know, gangbanging and riding on the walls, strapped up, and we get the cops see us, so they start chasing us down, and I'm the one holding, you know, the thing, so I have to run with it, you know. And luckily, in these times, wasn't like nowadays where if you're holding something, they don't just start shooting at you. Back then, they'll chase you and scream like, "Put it down," or put it down, or whatever, you know. So I remember running with that thing in my hand because, and this is a crazy story. The reason I had it in my hand was because I actually had my I came out of juvenile hall and I brought my pants, like it was like my little trophy from being in there. Like I brought the juvenile hall pants and I cut them into shorts and they were baggy, cool. Yeah, all creased up. Yeah, so I would wear them on the street, and but it's just a band, you know. You can't really tuck in nothing in it. They don't have no pockets or anything. So that's why I was running with it in my hand, and the cops was just, you know, like, put it down, I'm gonna shoot you. And eventually I ended up throwing it, and then they tackled me, whatever. And it was taking them a long time to find it. But I was like, damn, I hope somebody picked it up, because I was there for like an hour and they were still searching for it. And I'm like, I didn't throw it that far. You know, I just trying to throw it over the fence. So it shouldn't have took them that long to find it. But I guess it landed on a like a patio, so
somebody's house.
Yeah, up on the top. So eventually, when they went up there, they found it took them that long, and then I was an adult already. I was just 18. I just turned 18.
Damn, so now this is your first time going into the county.
Yeah, going to the county now. You
and
know?
What year is this?
96.
Oh,
96. Yeah.
Those years were.
Yeah, it was still treacherous in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was still pretty much. They still had 9500. If you mention that dorm to anybody, they know that, oh, okay, you got a chance to experience that part of the county jail before it changed.
Well, tell me about that part of the county jail. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. So what that means is it's a lot of stuff going on. That's almost like headquarters type deal, you know, meaning like that's really where everything was going on, you know, like that's the
Is that where you have, like, you know, like in the movies, like let's just say like Colors or whatever, even like American Me, right?
Yeah.
How it's like a big old room.
Yeah.
And
bunks,
it's like everybody's just there.
Yeah. Okay, it's like the Colors one where they kind of show a dorm like setting with a bunch of bunks everywhere, and everyone's just kind of you can
doing
just
their
see.
own thing.
Yeah. It was that, but when you walk in there, you can just sense that it's a bad place, right? You can walk to dorms and it's just like, oh, it's okay, cool, it feels. But when you would walk into 9500, you would just sense the
evilness,
and you can sense that people have probably even died in there. I mean, and I guess me, like, I'm really within myself, not in a religious way. I'm really spiritual with myself, and I can really use my inner feelings and my inner what is it called, like my sense, my sixth sense, to really feel things out. And up to this day, I trust my gut with things like that. And when I walked in there, I felt it, I felt it. And I was a youngster, and I have no glitch whatsoever, other than what my homies would kind of just put in my head, like, hey, if you ever end up here, just make sure that this and that and that, this and that. But it's not the real experience or the real schooling that you really need once you're there, like, definitely was an awakening of something that I was not used to. Because now it's...
was it an awakening in a good way or awakening in a bad way?
Well, it wasn't in a good way, meaning like I stood out of jail because of that, It was just more like it was something that I have no knowledge of. And when you don't have knowledge of something, but you're in the middle of it, or not in the middle, meaning you're in the mix, but that you're there already. And I feel it doesn't feel good because you don't want to make a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah. So you kind of gotta like lean back and just kind of take it in and make sure you figure out what's going on, and and kind of like find somebody that can guide you and help you through what's going on, and that can tell you why that person is getting dealt with right now, and so I don't get myself in that type of wreck, right? That's always been my mentality when I approach situations that I'm not too sure about, is finding out what got these people in that position so I can navigate myself better than that.
In a different way, yeah.
Yeah. Because I've never been I've never done hard drugs, and I've never chased any drug. So I'm always been on my P's and Q's, and I've always been very aware of my surroundings through every experience, whether on the streets or in jail. Like the time I got shot, the reason he didn't shoot me in my front body was because I seen it happening before it happened. Like, I can already sense it coming, and before he can even let off the shot, I already seen it coming up, and I was able to turn, and I got shot in the back. So if not, I would have been shot somewhere more vital. And same thing going into prison. Going into the county at this time was just kind of just...
You just took it
observing, and just making the best decisions for myself, because I wasn't going to be there long. I ended up just getting 2 months for the position of a weapon. And in them times, they would do this thing called Lucky Sevens. I don't know if anyone's ever mentioned that to you, but...
I don't think so.
Okay, but anyone in the 90s knows, or even before the 90s, Lucky 7 is they just randomly pick 7 people, and those 7 people are going to go home that day. Yeah, so...
You're Lucky 7.
Yeah, every day they would do Lucky 7s.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and then so they'll run Lucky 7s through the speaker, and everyone's just quiet, and they're like, shit, boom, boom, and they'll call people.
That's probably a horrible feeling.
Yeah. For the ones doing short time, it's like, all right, hopefully I get lucky. I mean, if I don't, I'm still getting out.
You got a chance tomorrow.
Yeah. So they gave me 2 months, and 9 days into my sentence, I got a Lucky 7.
Hell no.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that was great.
Yeah, for sure. Even though I was already like within those 9 days, don't get me wrong, that first day was a little intense because they put me where it was going on, and I had to kind of just, like I said, just kind of just take a step back and take it all in. But once they started moving me around a little bit, because within those 9 days, trust me, I went to a bunch of places. It wasn't like I was just there in that place for like, I think just 1 day. And then boom, back then, anyone that's been in the county in the 90s or even prior to that, you're constantly moving. Every day you're in one place to the other. Boom, boom. Every day they're just moving you until you end up in Wayside. And now you're established in the dorm over there. But while you're in the county, they're moving you constantly, because I don't know why they used to do that. But I've slept on the floor. I slept on hallways. I've slept on the roof. They used to call it the roof, because they didn't have any room. So
There
they
are
just
so
kept
many
pushing
people, huh?
over and over and over, and just finding anywhere to put people. It was definitely overcrowded. So there was a lot of what do you call it? Holding cell sleeping. You know, like sleeping on benches, and using the toilet paper as the pillow and all that.
That is terrible. I never wanted to do that shit.
It was a lot of people didn't dread the county as the county. A lot of people more dreaded the process
Because it would take like 24 hours minimum.
Oh, more.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum 24. But I've been there a couple of days, just like from one holding cell to another.
Oh, that is terrible. Huh?
Yeah. And then the most terrible thing about the county back then, I don't know about now, but once you get to the process where you get into the shower time process, I don't know if this was everyone's experience, but the water on the ground, it reaches your ankles. And so, mind you, there's crackheads and bums and people that probably don't take care of their feet, right?
Oh.
But the water is
Disgusting.
you're pretty much in there with everybody, and it's not like you can go off to the side and say, I don't want to shower, I'll right away to bird bath later. No, there's no way around. You have to go through there.
Oh.
Even though if you don't want to use it, you have to walk through there. It's like
Is there male prostitutes?
Where, like in jail?
Yeah.
I don't know. Why you ask that?
Because I just thought about, I know this, I thought about it because it came into my head, right? So I have to say it. I never met prostitute girls until I went to jail, until I went to the county. Like they were just full of freaking prostitute girls. So I just thought about it, just popped into my head, and I was like, wait, let me just ask.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably the first one I ever asked that. So you're like, wait, why are you asking me?
Now I know why you're asking.
In the 90s, like, fuck, I don't know,
I mean, if there was, I
didn't
guess,
know, yeah.
they're probably already processing to
Somewhere
a different
else.
area,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They probably already said, hey, I can't go with those guys
These
because
fools.
they're going to recognize me
Yeah,
or something,
yeah.
right? So maybe, not maybe, I'm sure there is,
Yeah.
but not
that you actually see, like, it's
not with
prostitute
us,
people. Yeah,
not
yeah,
amongst us, yeah. But you do see crackheads and all that, and it sucks because they put everyone in the same holding cells and all that, and so
Probably
you have
smells
to,
like nasty,
oh,
huh?
that the process in the beginning is though, I've never smelled anything that, and I never want to smell that again. But
know,
it's
that's
just a bunch of smells all together, and it's really bad, So yeah, no one loves. I'll put it to you like this: everyone can't wait to get a bed. Everyone can't wait to go to their cell. As crazy as that sounds, because we're done with the process, We're done with that.
Yeah.
So if
let me
if
sleep at least for a little bit.
If it's a quick process, oh man, blessings. But if it's one of those a day or two, it's the worst. That's your worst experience of the whole thing,
Literally.
Yeah. If you're doing everything right, obviously if you're fucking up, you're gonna experience some other stuff.
Yeah.
But
so those 9 days were quick.
It was an experience the first few days because I would always hear about the process and how before you get to Wayside, all the stuff you kind of got to go through to even just get over there. But once I got over there, it was already lovely. It was already, the dorm living and obviously everything's more organized and controlled and it's not like in the county. It's just like you run into new people every day and all the time. Over there now
It's like you're staying there.
You're staying there, so you now you can go get store and you can eat better, a little bit better plate. So yeah, 9 days at that time. Yeah, in the old county was that's where you seen what you had to see in order to say, hey, you can't just come in here and act a fool or not know what you're doing or really. I don't know. It's just I think
like you really just can't run your own program. Like no.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a strict program, and in all reality, we all need it because it keeps you it keeps you on your toes, and it keeps you from making mistakes. You know, like it's discipline that a lot of us need, because we're coming from the streets with no type of discipline, and all we think about is retaliation, get backs, because we're fighting amongst enemies. But now you get in there, and now you don't have that enemy, not your enemy anymore. Now you're
Gotta be
in
friends.
the same. Yeah, now you're in the same boat. So it's a crazy experience to go from really going at it with someone on the street, and then coming in and having to, to coincide. So. But it was cool. Right away, I got it right away. I got it right away, even though I was a youngster. I understood the assignment, as they say, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So it was cool. It was cool. It was a cool experience. And now getting out of there, even though it was only 9 days, the homies out on the street, like, they're like, oh, hell yeah, like, this fool's bad. It's like it's a party now, like, as
Did
always.
you have a girlfriend?
Yeah, at the time, yeah, I did.
And those 90 days you're all stressed. Those 9 days you're all stressed.
Yeah, it was there on the side, It was there on the side, because obviously, like, no one ever is gonna admit that, but obviously every guy goes through that, regardless if they admit it to it or not. But in there, you cannot show that type of weakness. So that's the thing.
Some fools are stress boxes.
No,
sure.
yeah. No, I eventually started seeing that.
You called her?
Yeah, I would call, yeah. But my mom, I'll call everybody,
Yeah.
Phone time is always an escape, and writing letters and all that. It's always been an escape for me, and also writing music, because mind you,
I was about
did
to
music.
ask you that.
Yeah, I always write music. So I did spend a lot of my free time in jail writing a lot of music. And listening to music. Like when I was on the street, I would always have earphones or earbuds in my ear, always. Like, it wasn't a time where I didn't have music playing in the background as I'm living my life. It's almost like a movie where it has a soundtrack, right? And I have my soundtrack to my life. There's music I can listen to now, and it'll remind me of where I was listening to it, and where I was at, and who I was with, So music has been a big part of my life, and it actually kept me. I give music a lot of credit mainly through jail and prison, that it kept me sane. Like, I used it as a way to a therapeutic way,
Like an escapation.
Yeah. So definitely music is a big part of it. But yeah, I ended up getting out.
Yeah, so you get home and they had a little party for you.
Not a party, but more like they're treating me like hell yeah, the homies out. Let's get them. Here's some herb, and here's some drink. And here, like they're treating me like if I was gone for a long time. Because I guess although it doesn't sound like a long time, but everybody, if you're really close knit. Which back then, neighborhoods were really close knit. Like, if your homie leaves, like, you miss them,
Yeah,
type
you
shit.
know, you feel it.
That's your dog, So when you get out, they accept you. They're happy for that you're back out, especially if you're like somebody that matters in that circle, right? Like, if you're just like somebody that's just a smoker or something, they don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
But
Keep that fool. He needs to be in there anyways.
Yeah, but if you like kind of really with that circle, and they're gonna show you love, and which was back then, it was a lot of that, which it's why it took a lot of youngsters under which neighborhoods did, because it was an acceptance that they probably wasn't getting anymore at home, right? It's not that I wasn't getting it. I could have got it, but it was just, I was more, like I said, it wasn't that I was looking for acceptance or love. It was just more like, it was something initially that I was intrigued by, and I was just wanted to be a part of it, and when I did, I started going through full force, and started going little by little through the stuff. But like I told you, I was not into drugs. I would just, smoke my little herb, and that's not what I call it. I'm just kind of keeping it PG. I'm keeping it PG.
We have to remember it's legal now.
Yeah. But it's just like whatever. But so I would just smoke and drink lightweight, not get off.
So what happens after you got out?
Continued our
in your path.
in the path of keeping my neighborhood, up there, and because we're a small neighborhood, so we're surrounded by a lot of neighborhoods, and we don't get along with none of them. So you always have to be on your toes, always. And I lived in my neighborhood, so sometimes at the end of the night, like everybody, like I said, all right, let's roll. Everyone's leaving, and everyone drives away to their home, and I have to like kind of
go in your
take
house.
a little jog over to my spot, So I always felt that 24/7 I was in my neighborhood, even while I was sleeping. Because mind you, my house has been shot up, my house has been raided, so my house was not a safe haven, but it was what it was, and that's where I lived, and that's where we grew up. And
well, that's how you guys made it.
Yeah. So it wasn't a big deal. It was just a part of my life, and that's it. I always thought I was gonna die out there. Honestly, at a young age, I didn't think that I was gonna survive the streets. Because a lot of my homies didn't. A lot of my close homies didn't, and a couple of times I was there when they didn't. So I knew my time was coming, but we just didn't know why. And I wasn't just gonna give it away like that neither.
Yes.
I was gonna fight back.
Of course.
Or at least make my neighborhood an area where people think twice before going in there. So I was always out there to just writing every wall I can. Making sure our presence was there, so people would be like, "Oh, I'm not going in there. Like, it looks fucking like if you go in there, you're not gonna make it out."
Yeah.
So that was my whole thing. That was my whole goal. Even when my homies wasn't around, like since I lived there, I would be out there by myself and doing anything. Anything to keep it on the map.
Of course.
And to make sure that everyone around us knew that they're
That's
out
you
there.
guys, yeah.
Yeah, they're out there.
This was active.
Yeah. So in the midst of all that, I eventually.
But you're still doing your music.
Yeah. I would, and when I would go home, the times when I would be at home, I would write. Like before I went to sleep, or when I woke up. The times I would be at my home, I would write. And I would write what my lifestyle was at the time. I made a song about my homies, rest in peace. By name, I name them all. I would make songs about, doing the damn thing out there.
No shit, hopefully nobody finds those songs.
No, they're out there. But obviously, all that is. Everyone knew when I was putting those songs that it ain't like I was a rapper. I was just a homie that knew how to rap, and I was giving my homies music that we related to, because at the time, like I mentioned, the rapper names that we were listening to, I wanted my neighborhood to have something that was ours, that named our neighborhood and that named us by name and everything. So that's what I did, and that music, eventually. It lived on for years through cassettes and CDs, but when the digital era came, and it got put into the digital era, now it's there forever, So I
and
got
now your
music.
younger homies.
Yeah, they listen to it, and not only that, but just younger homies from all over the place listen to it, because I have people have hit me up, and even during my prison stay, people recognized me by name. They always knew it was me, because there was never a name to it back then. There was no YouTube. I was, there was no way to really put your face to it.
Yeah.
It was just cassettes. It was just people just listening to cassettes, and they just knew my voice and my name, Lil Silent. So when I would meet people in prison, they would be like,
"Oh, you're
Little
him."
Silent. They're like, Little Silent, the one that raps, and I'll be like, my main thing was like, how the hell you know I rap?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, we had your tape. Like,
how cool
really?
is that?
I'm like, where? I'll ask them where they're from, right? And they'll tell me. In this case, I asked the homie where he was from, and he told me. But that neighborhood is in my area, right?
Oh, okay.
But so I was like, oh, that's why you know. But he told me, I told him, you're from there, right? And he's like, no, I'm from. He told me he was from Stockton. So that neighborhood has a chapter over there in Stockton. So now I'm like intrigued, like, how did my tape ended up in Stockton, right? So, just
so you're getting around, fool.
Yeah,
you're getting around.
I get around. It was just that, yeah. People were just people that would go out there to visit, they'll have my cassette and they'll just, hey, play this, and that's how it started spreading out.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I was still doing that before in the 90s. While I was still
doing your thing.
Yeah, I was definitely writing and recording myself on a tape deck. Never. Well, I ended up going to a studio at some point, and I'll get to that right now because it does lead to me
before you go to prison.
Going to prison, yeah. The streets, it's really wild. This is 1998. Once 1998 came in, it was really wild out there for us, and especially for like my neighborhood, because we were like back and forth with 2-3 different other neighborhoods, and some guys from some baller guys from the neighborhood. They were not from
the gang,
but they lived there and they did their thing. They had money. They eventually they talked to me and they're like, look, we're in the midst of doing an album with different young rappers coming up, and we would like to have you on there.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, so I was like, oh shit, and they're like, we're gonna go to a real studio, and we're gonna, it's gonna be some studio time. We're gonna have a real producer, engineer, everything, the whole works. They said, all you gotta do is show up. And I was on the street when we had this little verbal contract, right, with my homies. So I was kind of like look at my homies like, what do you think, and they're like, hell yeah, like,
that's right.
Hell yeah, like, do it, yeah, we'll go with you, I was like, all right, let's go. So when the time came to go to the studio, yeah, me and the homies, we got loaded up in the car from the street and we went, and sure enough, they weren't playing. It was we're in the studio, they running some tracks, told me to pick a couple tracks, and then I started rapping, and then mind you, it was a compilation, so there was other rappers there, youngsters.
Mexican rappers.
No. There was like blacks, and I think there were no Mexican rappers.
Oh, you're the only one.
I was the only one. Yeah. And I kind of went last because I wanted to vibe it out first, like I
hear them kind of thing.
Yeah, and just kind of see, because this is my first time in the studio, so I just want to see how it works. And then so these other guys were rapping, and they were taking long, and they were doing a bunch of takes, meaning like they had to punch in, and it was taking a long process, and it was just prolonging the whole situation. But once I got to the mic, I had been already rapping for years now at this point, and I didn't have the luxury of taking takes and piecing it up. I had to kind of rap, do it all at once, do a whole 4-minute song at once. So when I got to the studio, by that point, I'm already, my breathing is up to par to be a real rapper that can rap nonstop. Mm-hmm. So I did my songs in one take, and they were fucking amazed. They was like, what the hell? And I'm talking about nonstop. So they were really amazed at my talent to do that. And I was just, to me, it was normal. I was like, I do that all the time. It's like, dude, like, did you see these other guys? Like, these guys couldn't even get a one verse fucking right, and you did the whole song. I was like, hey, that's
always a good feeling.
Yeah. I was just like, yeah, because they were praising, my talent. And to me, it was normal. And these guys are professional producers. I'm in a real studio. So now I'm really excited about it now, and they're like, come back, we'll do another song. And I went back, and then I went back a third time, and I did another song. And I'm super excited, and my homies are too, because we kind of see a future. I'm like,
yeah,
hey, it seems like you're gonna do something like that. You're really gonna become somebody at some point. This is the real deal here. And this was only like a month or so process where all this happened. 98, probably early 98. 97, 90. I think it was like December going into 98. December 97 going into 98. So I'm waiting, like I'm excited about it, but it's taking, like, I thought it was gonna be something fast, right?
These fools are playing.
I don't think they were playing. It's just I didn't know that, those type of process it takes a little while, you know, especially them. They were just getting into the game as well, the
okay.
music game. So they were just learning it as well. They kind of just had the money and they wanted to invest in this music stuff, but they weren't really like schooled at it. So it was taking them a little while to get into it and to make it happen. And I do remember telling the guy, I told him, look, how long is this gonna take? Because look, I don't see myself lasting long out here on the streets. And by that I meant, you know, I'm gonna die out here or I'm gonna go to jail for a long time.
Wow.
Because of the activity level, right? And he's like, no, you know, like, trust it, you know, trust is we're gonna make it happen. And because I literally felt like this was my ticket out, right? Like, not my ticket to do something with myself, to better myself, or at least to you know, to try to do something with my talent that can eventually help my family or, you know, whatever. Now the time came and nothing, and you know, times was hard, you know, like I didn't work, you know, like I said, all we did was kind of, you know, just hustle on the street. And then and one of those times we were just like, you know what, let's just go and let's go, well, you know, take somebody's shit, you know, like, we're down bad right now, meaning we needed something to just maintain. It was hot in the neighborhood because we were going at it, so we couldn't really stand on the corner and
do your thing
anymore. So it was like, you know, we kind of got into just doing that, going out and looking for people to take from.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't something I ever liked to do, but you know, it's just you know, it just was that time where it's just like, hey, it's a necessity.
Hard times.
Yeah, you know. And in one of those situations, we got caught up.
Is that what you went to prison for?
Yeah.
So what did you go to prison for? What was your actual charge?
So after all said was and done, I got convicted of carjacking, robbery, felony evading, GTA, and all within the use of a weapon. Yeah. So mind you, the 90s, I used to see my homies go in and out of jail for stuff like this. A couple years, couple months, YA. Everyone would come out right away. Except the homies that caught the big cases, right? Like my brother. But I would see my homies in and out throughout the 90s. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And I didn't really think nothing of it when we got caught up. I did know it was pretty serious, but I never thought I would end up going away as long as I did, because it was my first time, really. It was my first felony offense ever, you know? And my first time ever going to prison. So as you're going through the process, everyone, you know, you got your jailhouse lawyers. Everyone's telling you, oh, man, it's your first time to slap on the wrist.
How long did you fight your case for?
So I ended up fighting my case close to a year. But the thing was that in 1998, the year I went to jail, a lot of laws came into play that nobody was aware of. If you're on the street, you're not aware of the laws. You don't know what's going on, you know, in the elections and none of that. You know, you just become a victim of it at some point. So I didn't know that, you know, those cases that I was busted for, the laws had changed on it. And though there were very serious crimes now, and that carried a lot of time. That year they bumped it up. I wasn't aware of it. So once I went to court and they told me what I was facing, which was 20 years, no life, just the 20, 85%. I was like, whoa, like, well, wait a minute.
Like, this is serious.
Yeah, like, why am I facing so much time? So it turns out that, but actually in the beginning it was more. They kind of like had everything separate. You know, they're just telling me this is 3, this is 5, this is 9, and this is 10. I was like, oh shit. But as time went on and the process was happening, they started, you know, dropping certain things, and then and saying how other things are running concurrent with other things. Like they can't sentence me separately. They can sentence me to it, but they're gonna run together,
which is a great thing.
Yeah, eventually, you know. But I was fighting my case, and I ended up getting a hung jury my first trial. Meaning, for those that don't know, not the, you know, there's 12 jurors, and in order for them to find you guilty, they all have to be all with the same. They all have to come to an agreement that you're guilty, all 12. But if even just one person thinks that you're not, or they're having a doubt, then it's a hung jury, meaning there's no decision. And
so it's always a good thing.
It's a good thing because they can the judge has to dismiss the case, and either the DA is gonna refile the case, like try you again, or they're gonna offer you a better deal.
And your case, what happened?
I mean, my case, my first deal, I didn't want it because to me it was still double digits with 2 strikes.
Oh, yeah.
And it was my first time, so I'm like, damn, like, nah, like I can't do that. I can't just, because there's no guarantee that I'm not gonna catch that 3rd strike while I'm in there, you know. So it's like, that's a gamble within itself.
Like you lose no matter what.
Yep. And like I said, I didn't have life, so I was like, the difference between my max sentence and the deal wasn't that far apart. So I was just like, let's go to trial again.
Yeah.
I can already notice that I have action, because in all reality, although I got caught in the middle of the crime, it wasn't the way they were saying it was, you know, because my crimies got away and I was the only one that got busted. So within that, the victim, the witness, had everything all wrong. He was kind of confusing all of us. So he was saying that I was a certain height that I wasn't, or I was wearing a certain thing that so he got confused. But all that matters in the court of law. You can't, like, if you say something one time, you can't, and the DA tells you you're wrong, you can't go to court the next time and change
switch it up. Yeah.
And that's what he was doing.
So it was good.
It was good, yeah. So that's why I got the hung jury, because the 3 people doubted the witness. So obviously, because of him switching up the story.
Yeah.
So I went to trial again, and because I didn't want to take the deal.
Yeah.
So the judge told me, he's like, look, okay, you don't want the deal? Okay. And he's like, we're going to give you another trial. He tells me, but if you lose, he tells me, I'm going to give you the max. You know,
which was?
Well, at the time, everyone was 20, but once you do the once you really calculate it, it was 19.
Okay.
19 years with 85%.
I mean, that's still like.
Yeah, it's still rounded off. I always round it off, man. That's a dub, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go. You know, I'll take that risk. You know, and then so we went to trial again, and then same thing. The witness was doing the same thing, changing things around and making it, you know, it was just not right. Yeah, it was leaning towards, I have action here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, so what did you end up getting sentenced to?
To everything.
I know, but what was your whole time?
Well, what happened is this. Look, that second trial ended, and I got another hung jury.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So when you get a hung jury, or even a guilty or acquittal, the judge, before it ends, has to ask every juror if that's their decision, and they have to say yes. So I got the hung jury, and the judge had to do his final. Mind you, I'm already celebrating in my head, because I made a deal with him that he told me, if you lose, you get the max. But if you get another hung jury, because he said, I know you're not gonna get a not guilty. if you get another hung jury, he told me, I'll let you go. Yeah. So I got the hung jury.
But he didn't let you go.
Well, when he was asking every juror if they agree with the decision of a hung jury, one of the ones that were in doubt changed their mind right there as they were asking her. And that was enough for the judge to say, okay, send them back to deliberate some more, meaning to talk about it some more. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. It was
Like, this is not a deal.
Yeah, like that's not. I'll tell my lawyer, like, is that even legal? Can he do that? I mean, they had already said hung jury. He's like, and my lawyer started motion to dismiss, motion this, motion that. The judge says, nope. If there's any movement within the jury, we have to send them back to deliberate. And I was like, no. I was like, no, don't let it happen, man. And my lawyer tried. He tried, but the judge, he did it. He was like, nope, send them back. And it was actually Friday, and it was already, the courts were about to close. So they said, you know what, let's come back on Monday. I was like, no. I was like, nah.
And then you're already tired, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to court. Tell me about your court process. Like, you got to wake up every day.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, you're not rested. You're freaking exhausted. You're dealing with whatever you're dealing with in the tanks. Like, because obviously in those years, like, being in the tanks, like, you're able to, like, get down with each other. You're able to, like, do things, move around in the tanks.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Yep. It was a lot. I used to visit a lot of cells to go visit my homies and all that, because you can maneuver. You can. I don't know how it is now, you know, but back then, yeah, you can definitely. And court line, you can just say, hey, just can lie and say I'm in this other. I'm going to the Compton court, and they'll send you over there. But all you trying to do is walk around and go find. Yeah, because I even see my brother. Like, I used to visit. That was the time to go visit the homies, you know. But come when you're in trial, though, your mind's not really.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not okay.
No, you're not. You're
mentally
focused,
exhausted.
Yeah.
You're super drained.
Every day, yeah. You're going to court
fighting for
every
your
day.
life, you know. And then top it off, like, you've been fighting this for a whole year. What would you say was the craziest thing you experienced in this year that you're fighting your case?
The craziest
Before
thing?
we go back to Monday.
Yeah. What could it be? I mean, I think I was able to maneuver correctly in there and do things the right way. I think one of my craziest for myself experience actually came on Monday. Yeah.
All right, we're going to Monday.
Yeah. So the reason I didn't want it to go to Monday, because my lawyer had warned me, like, hey, we can't have them go home. We can't have the jury go home. We gotta find a way to finish it today. Because if they go home,
they're coming back fresh.
And not only that, although they're told not to speak to nobody about the case, they go home and talk to people about the case.
Oh, for sure.
And people put things in their head. So, and I was just like, damn, I don't want that. Like, I really needed that hung jury, you know?
Yeah.
And I got it, you know, and I was proud of myself that I made the right decision, and I got what I gambled for. But come Monday, the judge sent them to go talk about it some more. And it wasn't very long when my lawyer was like, hey, they made a decision.
And it didn't sound good.
Nah, because the decision was not going to be not guilty. I already knew, because the ratio, it was more guilty than not guilty. There was only 2, I think, that had said not guilty. So I don't think those 2 convinced 10 to say I was not guilty. I think it was more like the 10 convinced the 2 to say guilty. So
just to get the shit out the way.
Yep. Yeah, that's how I felt. And yeah, when my lawyer came and told me they got a decision, I was like, yeah, it's all bad. And sure enough, we went out. He's like, we gotta go out. And yep.
Did you have to wear a tie?
I think so. I don't think I wore a tie, but I did wear like a nice, like a little button up and stuff like that, you know. So they do allow you to dress up, but you're still in cuffs, which. It was a controversy with my lawyer, because he was saying, like, what's the purpose of you allowing them to dress up if you're still gonna have a cuff?
That's right.
You know, because that makes you don't. The jury shouldn't know it whether you're fighting from home or if you're in custody. You know, they should have a fair view of it
like
rather
a fair
than
judgment.
yeah. So but to be 100%, the judge didn't like the fact that I took them to trial because they're so used to people taking deals. But
They don't like that. They don't like to be
they don't like it. They
challenged.
don't like it. Yep. And I challenged them, and he did not like me. And so when the time came, when I went out there and I got found, I'm just like, fuck, like it is what it is. And yep, sure enough, everybody one at a time, guilty, all 12 of them. I was like, damn.
Dang.
Yeah.
So what did you end up getting sentenced to?
So they didn't sentence me that day. Obviously, sentencing comes
After?
10 days later. In my case, it was 10 days later.
Okay.
So that day, they found me guilty, and I'm not gonna lie, it was devastating. As much as you grew up to be this hardcore person that you can't crack or nothing, I felt it inside within me.
Of course.
But when I did turn to look at my mom, that really hurt me. Because I was her baby. I'm the youngest one, so.
And here she goes with the oldest, and now with her youngest.
Yeah. And I never got to the story, but my brother that was doing the YA life, he got out in 97, and I was still out there, and I got busted in 98, so I spent a year with him before I ended up going away. So that was cool for my mom that she had the whole family for a little bit, for a year.
Yeah.
And then, the hardest part was that looking at my mom and just, seeing her, break down that damn, like we all knew what was coming. We knew that I had made that deal with the judge that if I lost, he was going to give me a lot of time. So, that right away just come take me and just rush me out, like I'm just like trying to like at least get, some type of I don't know. You feel like, damn, like, can I look at my family for a little bit at least, or can they say something to me? Nah, they just guilty, and it's almost like, oh, now that you're guilty, you're really this criminal that they say you were, so we're gonna treat you like him.
Yeah.
And they took me out fast, and that later on that night, they were gonna no, actually the next morning. That night, whatever, I really don't remember what I was going through. I know I was calling the house just for like some comfort from my family, and my mom had already told everybody like, "Hey, don't cry. When he calls, don't show no emotion. Just be strong for him because he's probably going through it right now." So
for
everybody,
sure.
everybody was just kind of like, "Hey, like just being showing me strength, and trying to keep me." But I was just like, man, this fucking. I was trying to like, man,
that's not what you wanted to hear.
Yeah, so I was the one feeling, and so the next morning, they're gonna transfer me to Wayside, but I was so used to being in the county because in the old county, I had a phone right there by my bunk. So that was my comfort. Like that's how I like kind of stood sane, talking to my people, my family, and by them, I mainly spend most of my year there, in that because when you're going to trial, they kind of keep you in one place. I don't know how it is now, but back then they'll keep you in one place if you're in trial.
At the trial module. Or whatever.
Like they back then it was called the state module. So anyone that was coming from state to go to court, they held them in that module, and that's where they had me. So when they were gonna take that from me by moving me away, I didn't want to move. I was like, no, I want to stay here. Before I leave to prison, obviously, I want to be able to talk to my family as much as I can. And me going to Wayside, now it's a dorm living, and you have to wait your turn to get a call, and it's not gonna be as regular talking to my family anymore. So I did some shit in order to not be taken.
What'd you do?
Right. Back then you pretty much you pretty much take anything that says your name off, and they don't know who you are. So now they have to rebook you, so to speak. So now they can't take you away no more because they don't even know if you're the person that's on the list. You know, so you risk your wristband. You get rid of any paperwork that might say your name or anything that they can look at. But they can't even go based on that anyways. It has to be the wristband, and if they don't have your wristband, then you can't go. You know, but I would do that a lot.
I would do the slick moves, huh?
Yeah, well back then that was the move to not move. But at that point, I had enough of it. So what they did was they wrote me up for destroying county property or something like that, which was that. And they still took me, and they was like, "Yeah, you want to be messing around? We're still gonna take you, and not only that, we're gonna put you in a hole." You know. So mind you, I just lost my case the day before. I'm not okay in my head. I'm still stressed out. I needed my family to talk to keep me
sane,
to keep me, like just keep me stable. And by then putting me in the hole, they gave me 10 days in the hole, and 10 days later I was being sentenced. So I went from getting out of the hole, the day they actually released me from the hole, I didn't even go to a dorm or anything. From the hole, they take me straight to the court. So the whole reason why I told you that my craziest experience, more like me, was those 10 days, because I was in a cell by myself, nobody to talk to. I was just lost in my head, you know. And
yeah, that's worse.
That's the worst thing they can ever do to anybody. Well, I mean, there's a lot of worse things they can do, but in my case, I'm speaking about me.
Yeah, your experience.
That was the worst thing they could have done to me, and it happened. To know that you're about to go to prison for 20 years for the first time ever, that you've never been to anywhere like that, and it's eating you up, and then you really need someone to talk to keep you, keep you grounded, but yet you get thrown into a room by yourself for 10 days.
It's not it's not safe for you.
Yeah, it was just
mentally.
Yeah, it was not. The first few days was really rough mentally. Yeah, it was really rough because
it's meant to break you down.
Yeah. But I mean, I put myself in that situation. I could have just went along with the process and would have had a better experience.
And you're going through all
I did it
these
out of
things.
anger.
Yeah,
I did it out of anger, and I kind of as they were questioning about it, I had an attitude. I was just like, I was like snapping in a way, That's why they did it. And I was like, okay, you want to act up?
There you go.
You gonna see. And I don't think they did it on purpose, knowing that they didn't even know I just lost my case. They just did it out of just, hey, put them in the hole.
Yeah, because you're not being cooperative.
Yeah, and for anybody, 10 days in the hole is nothing. But for somebody in my position, I didn't need that at that moment.
Yes,
yeah.
no.
So it really, I had my my moment of a breakdown moment, But I think it really did help me because at some point I got myself up, and I accepted my fate. I was like, you know what, fuck it, like I did what I did, and if this is what it takes for if this is what it comes with, then let's go, because I'm the type to, if I commit myself to something, meaning back in the 90s to the neighborhood, and now, or to my family, or in a relationship, or in this case, taking this journey, through prison, then I'm 100% in, and I'm committed to it. I'm gonna ride it out. And so eventually, at some point during those 10 days, I uplifted myself, like I said, and I accepted it. Started working out, and
because working out always does make you feel better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it does. And for me also, somebody slid me some paper and a pencil, and so I was able to kind of just write and just take my mind off of things. The cool part was that the day I got out of the hole was the day I was gonna get sentenced. And mind you, I really, even though the judge said that he was gonna give me the max, it's not a for sure, right? He can change his mind.
He can do
and,
what he wants. Yep.
Yeah, he can change his mind and give me a midterm. At least.
At least this is what you were hoping.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna get the low term, but I was hoping at least for a midterm, which was like a 5-year difference. I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Hell yeah. 5 years is 5 years.
Yeah. And so as I was going to court and talking to people, I could finally now talk to people, right? Like, hey, what do you think? You think they're gonna max me out? They're like, oh, it's your first time? Hell no, they're probably gonna give you the lowest. I'm like, you think so?
And then we always believe in it.
Yeah, I'm like, I just want any false hope, dude.
Yeah.
I just want anything to make me feel like I got action. And then everybody's like, oh hell no, they're not gonna give you that. They're not. My homie had the same case as you, and they only gave him this. I'm like, oh okay, thank you. It's good to hear that. Fuck that. I went to court. The judge.
And you were looking rough, huh?
Oh hell yeah! Oh, it was, dude. My hair had already grown out.
He was probably like, "What is he?"
But I had hair then.
He was probably like, "What the heck is going on with this beard. Man?"
Yeah, when they seen me, I think they probably thought, "Damn, this fool's going through it." But it wasn't that. I was going through it, but it wasn't that I was going through it just in a regular situation. No, I was in a hole, and we didn't have razors. We didn't have nothing. So yeah, I looked, and then. And not only that, they took me with the clothes from the hole. It had a big old. It was all ripped, all oversized. So it really was a bad look for whoever my loved ones.
I wonder if they felt like the jurors, like if they felt like, damn, did we really mess up? I mean, obviously now thinking about it doesn't matter, but I'm saying damn,
I think they did.
if they had some kind of remorse, because honestly, people gotta feel guilt, bro. I don't care what, we gotta feel. The juror people, once, for example, they saw you and they're like, damn, did we, we could have sent him home, and who knows what he just went through because we just wanted to finish this trial. Yeah, so during trial, it's by law, you can't tell the jurors how much you're facing because they don't want them. Don't know.
No, yeah, they don't want them to feel empathy,
Yeah. Oh shit.
Or sympathy.
So what happens? Okay, so you go, you're looking all rough.
Yeah.
And then how much did what did the judge say?
Well, at this point, my family had already created a campaign of let's go over there, get everybody that can say good things about him. They were even able to get one of my junior high school teachers to go over there because I had a junior high school teacher that was really cool with me, even though I was already involved. He kind of He liked to help the gang members out, at least show them that he cares, right? Mm-hmm. He'll have pizza parties in the classroom and all that. So he found out that I was going through that, and he wanted to help in any way, So he's like, yeah, I'll go speak for him, at the court during prior to his sentencing.
Yeah.
They allow before the judge gets his sentence, they allow us to, or they allow me to bring whoever I can to speak on my behalf. So yeah, my mom,
everybody,
dude. Yeah, everybody that had anything good to say about me, they went up there, and to convince the judge to at least give me a lighter sentence. And I put it to you like this: even the DA, the judge asked the DA, "Do you have anything to say about?" He's like, "Look, I see that they're." Request that they, everyone wants a smaller, shorter sentence. He said to himself, I really don't mind the mid, but I mean, he was at the same time he's still saying, but what, for the crimes he did, the max is it's what you should get, but he didn't mind
doing the
midterm, right?
Yeah.
The DA was like, I don't mind the midterm because, like I said, it wasn't that far difference, but for me, I'll take it. But judge had the last decision. He's like, look, you got yourself in this mess. If I let you out, you're gonna continue.
It's kind of like a fact, though, huh?
Yeah, it was a fact. But the way he said it though was not the right way to word it, because he was like, yeah, you got your family fooled. You have them, you might give them one side of you, but in real life. This is you, and I'm not gonna give you another chance to hurt the community. He says I'm gonna give you the max. Yeah, and
wow.
He's like 19 years. I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
Out of your 19 years, how much time did you do?
17.
Oh, well, that's, I mean, it's not good, right? You still fucking did a whole lot. But I'm just saying, like,
I actually did more than what I was supposed to do. I was
Okay.
supposed to do, because in there you catch time, you know? So I was supposed to do 16. So, after catching a little bit of
because
time
you got the
here and there-
85.
Yeah, 85 was 16 years. But obviously that just because you're sentenced to 85% doesn't mean it's that's what you're gonna do. You still have 100 the other 15 to work with if you they keep adding time. You know.
You think that's why that's why they do it, huh?
I really don't know. I mean, there's people. They give you this. Obviously, if you're catching like cases, then they're adding extra time
Years,
to it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if you're just kind of doing within prison type of crimes, then they just work with your max, and they just kind of little by little start trying to reach your max, and a lot of people max out in there, luckily, but there's things that you get caught for in there that you can get your time back, like meaning like if you get in a riot or if you get into a fist fight, mutual combat they call it. If they'll give you 90 days, but if you stay clean for those 90 days, for another 90 days, you get the time back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But if you're really like all like cagapalo, like you're losing all the time because you're getting into something right away
All the
again,
time.
and you lose it.
So okay, so you get sentenced to the 19 years,
19,
right?
yeah.
Obviously, you're. It's not a good feeling.
Hell no.
It's not a good feeling. But you gotta accept it.
Yeah.
Where did you go once you got sentenced?
So I got sentenced. Obviously, I went through another emotional type situation within myself.
Of course.
Like I look back again and see my family, and I'm like, damn, man, like it's a wrap, right? And then again, right away, boom, take him away. And then now I'm in the holding tank, and feeling down and out. My lawyer is just like, oh, like sorry. I'm like, I don't try to hear that shit no more. It's a wrap. So. And back to the county. So they put us in the buses, and then I'm feeling it, I'm just like, damn, like it's over with, at the time I just turned 20, so to me to be sentenced almost to the age that I am, to me it seems like a lifetime. Well, it is a lifetime, right?
Definitely.
My lifetime. I'm the age of what the judge just sentenced me.
Yeah.
So I'm just, and then we're shackled, and our homie's shackled with me, and he sees that I'm just like, damn, I'm just looking out, because at this time, I think now the buses are blacked out, you can't see out the windows, but back then you can see. So I'm just kind of, just going through it, and the homie just like, he was a real one, man. He was like, look, bro, like he can sense that I was like, damn, like.
You were
and he's
down.
Like, yeah, and he's like, look, man, hey, let it go. He's like, let it go, man, let it go. Not let it go meaning like forget about what just happened. He's like, nah, like let your emotions go real quick. I got you, like I'm not gonna, like he's not gonna judge me. So I kind of just like, and not that I was ready to let it go, it's just like him showing me that
It's okay.
Yeah, I kind of a little bit just like, like you get that little like, fuck, like I probably shed a little tear and shit, and then you just kind of.
I mean, it's the least you could do. Like, damn, I would have been like devastated.
Yeah.
I mean, us girls is a little different, right? Because I'm fucking crying, for sure crying.
But I gathered myself, and I was thankful, like, I mean, at least within me, that the homie like understood, because I'm sure he's seen it, and I also seen it, before I lost my case. I seen, the hardest of the most gangsterous homie, catch, a life term or a life without, and go through it, and we had to kind of console him a little bit, like it's cool, like
let it out.
Just just a little tear, or a little watery eyes and shit, and then just get back to business, right? But yeah, man, it's real, and a lot of people they won't talk about that, But I mean, those that know that, hey, man, we're human beings too,
That's
like
right.
just because we made bad decisions in life, or we chose to run a certain type of lifestyle, doesn't take away the fact that we're still humans and we're still someone's son or daughter.
That's right.
and or we have our own kids. Obviously I'm not obvious, but I didn't have any kids, luckily. So I didn't go through that part of feeling bad. Like I'm not, at this point, I felt bad for my mom. And And but I now I did this, so now it's on me to carry it out and make sure that I make it out. For my mom.
For sure.
Yep. So yeah.
So
back
where'd
to
you
the
go?
county. Back to the county. And then just to await transfer to prison.
How long did it take?
Back then it was a wait of like 2 weeks. Everyone knew, and how long it took me to go. They did transfer me from the county to another spot. Back then, they had the Linwood County Jail. Now I don't know what it is. I heard it was a
girls.
women's, and then I don't know what it is now. But
It's still girls.
Okay, back then it might have had a section with girls, but back then it had men as well. And so that's where they took me to wait for the transfer. And then so I was there like 2 weeks, and then and the day came.
Where did you go?
I ended up going to reception. I went to Delano.
And how was that for you? You walking in, you're on the bus ride. How was it?
The bus ride was.
Because you're listening to music?
Yeah, I think they were playing the music. Well, first from Linwood, when they say you're going to prison now, so we're taking you back to the county. Going down to 110 towards downtown, to the right side of it, that's the low bottoms. So taking that ride back and just looking at my neighborhood, and looking at the McDonald's, looking at Figueroa, the corridor where all the all the fast food places are, everything where I grew up running the streets. And I was just like, this is the last time I see this place, And it was a crazy experience for me, that drive back to the county and at least getting the chance to look at my neighborhood for one last time, right? It was crazy, it was a crazy thought. And I was, just taking it in because I knew it was the last time I was going to see it.
For a while.
Yeah, we get to the county and, process to get in the bus, and then eventually we're on the road to Delano, and it's already daytime, so I'm just same thing, just looking out the window and just thinking, just watching the miles go by, and I'm just like, damn, like every mile that went by, I'm just like, damn, like I'm really like going away from my family, like that was my only thought. Like every mile that kept going, I'm just like, I'm going further and further away from my family, and that sucked because this is the first time I ever left anywhere.
Yeah.
If we ever went to Mexico, I always went together, but this is the time, aside from going to Mexico with my family, I never left my neighborhood. So now I'm leaving the neighborhood without my family, and I have a 19-year sentence, so I'm not gonna see them in a long time. So it sucked, that bus ride sucked for sure, thinking that it's over. But that's just all within me. I'm still one side thinking of that, and the other side thinking like, hey, I don't know what to expect. First time in prison.
But we're doing it.
Yeah, we're gonna do it regardless. We're going and let's go. And so yeah, reception is, it's not the full experience because you're kind of like it's just a place where you wait for them to find out where they're gonna house you, a place where they calculate your points to see where you're gonna end up at, what level status you're gonna be at, what type of security level you're gonna be at. So yeah, you're just sitting down for like 2 months. At the time, I don't know how it is now, but at the time it was like a 2 month wait before they tell you, okay, we found where you're gonna go. This is where you're going, and take it back real quick because it's significant to when they told me where I was going. When I got busted for the case, when I was in the police station, like when they busted me on the street and then they took me to the police station and they're trying to ask me who my homies are, because mind you, they got away and I was the only one there, so they're trying to find out, and I'm like,
Is that gonna happen?
yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. So the guy, the police officer or the detective, he's reading a newspaper. And on the newspaper is it's a story about Corcoran Prison, about the gladiator fights, and about how the cops are just shooting people down, and how bad it was over there. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh yeah, you think you're tough, huh? He's like, you see this right here? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, whatever, And he's like, this is where you're gonna end up. this is where you're gonna go. You wanna play tough, and you wanna just. But they were mad because I wasn't telling them anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is where you're gonna end up. You see all this? See what's going on in prison right now? He's like, you're gonna end up right here for the next 50 years. Keep playing your games. And I was like, whatever, you know. So, but I did catch a glimpse of what it said, and it was like a lot of bad shit was going on over there with the cops. You know, people were getting shot. Inmates were,
fighting.
Yeah, the cops were betting on inmates to fight each other and see who won. And the cops were betting. They're calling the gladiator fights, and then after they'll, if you were holding a weapon or if you were like assaulting them pretty bad, they'll shoot you down. So I was like, whoa, that's kind of wild. I hope I don't end up there.
That's exactly where you ended up, huh?
So once they found out where I'm going, they're like, they come to your door and they slide paper bags and they're like, put our stuff in here. Man, we all know that the bag says where you're going.
Oh, okay.
So when I pick up the bag, open it was like Corcoran State Prison. I was like, oh, hell no. Is that the one? It was, where the cop fucking told me.
Push-ups.
Yeah, where the cop told me that I was going. But the whole thing with that is that within that year that I was fighting my case, the feds had already stepped in there. They found out what was going on, so it was like a whole big investigation going on. Yeah, well, they were more on their P's and Q's, the cops now, because of them being investigated for that. So when I got there, it was still, they still had a little bit of roughness in them, but they weren't doing it like that anymore. Like once you get off the bus, they definitely, they put a they put a little tension on you, so you can know that, hey, this is not a place to be around. Yeah, and
you felt it or what?
Well, what it is when you I felt it from them for sure, but when you're waiting to get housed there now, they put you on like in a little cage outside, and you can see the yards. Like you can see the yards. They're kind of far away, but you can still see it, and you can just see the alarms going off and. All the cops running back and forth, going to one yard to the other.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And just in the matter of that little time of you guys just waiting to get housed.
Yeah, waiting to get housed, because it
crazy.
Took a while. So I was like, oh, damn, like it's regardless
it's going down here.
Yeah, regardless that whatever the cops. I actually didn't even know that the feds were already there. I still had the mentality that this shit's going on here. They didn't tell me that until when I got housed and I asked about it. It's like, hey, that's still going on? They're like, no, it's not like that. But it's still.
How many different prisons did you go to in those 19 years?
Probably like, let's say, Corcoran, Ironwood, Chukwala, Soledad. I went to probably about six, yeah. Because back then, what it was back then, I know now is a lot different. So mind you, whatever I say is not significant to now.
Because you've been out for how many years?
Yeah, and it really changed the year I got out. In 2015, when I got out, it's when it really changed, meaning huge changes.
Yes.
Huge
well, let's
changes.
get back to your prisons still.
Yeah.
So you get to Corcoran, right?
Yeah.
And you start programming.
Yeah.
How was Corcoran for you? Like, what would you say was the craziest thing you experienced, or even saw? That it was like, damn.
Well, I mean, the experience that brought me down to like, hey, this
buckle up.
Yeah, this is gonna be the rest of your life. So it was mainly obviously this was early as soon once because. From when you get when they house you, then they put you in a building and you have to wait there another couple of weeks for them to house you. From there to you're gonna stay in the yard, but they're gonna house you out to the population. They're just making sure that they have a bed and whatever, like they're waiting for a bed to open up for you. And then so in this times, like I'm meeting homies and hey, like. I'm so and so, and they're being respectful, and they're giving you food, soap, whatever you don't have, because you coming fresh. They haven't even gave you your property yet. You don't have anything. So the homies that are coming through, showing you love. Definitely one thing that was pretty crazy was meeting somebody that was there for unaliving, as they say, one of your friends, and be in a situation where he's actually looking out for you, like, boom, you need anything. More of of a sense of we're from the same area, you know. Like once they find out that hey, you got a homie from your area, meaning like from your actual core
like blocks
little
right there.
area right there, regardless if it's your enemy, it's like you get excited because now you have someone you can have mutual conversations about the area and remember the spot over here, even though you might not be on the streets friends with him, but in there it's you have to come together and be one, so that one was a an experience that I was like, damn, like, okay, this is what it is over here, even though in the county you see them, but
how did it make you feel? Because you actually knew,
yeah,
like,
it changed my perspective, yeah, for sure, and because I never thought that I let's say like going to the county, like I really didn't. Like if I did see someone that I knew we had problems with, I just kind of just mind my business. Not really like, like, because there's so many people there that you can, just do your thing with whoever you want to be your crew. You don't have to really associate with everybody, But over here now, it's like you can't disassociate. You have to show everybody the same respect.
Yes.
And in there, it's more like I said, more well, they call it car. Your car, like, and my car was the low bottom South Central, so that includes enemies and home and everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
So that definitely gave me a different perspective on I don't know. You know what? I get the cause. I get what the cause is here. The cause is like we come from the same environment, and now we're here battling in a different fight. So we have to come together for this fight,
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I get it, I get it. But the one that that brought me to what it was gonna be was soon as I got out and went to the got my cell, went to to be able to program on the yard with everybody, was a homie that was also looking out for me. It was like a porter, like the guy that goes around and checks on everybody. Really good guy, he we're on the yard and you can you sense everything, you sense something's going on. And then and before this, my celly, he had some little weed and shit, so he
some herb.
Yeah, some herb. yeah. I'm getting more comfortable now. So he slid me a little. No. This happened after. Okay, no. Let's skip that one. So I went to the yard, right, and then I can sense something wasn't right, and then and everyone knew I was fresh, so they're kind of just telling me, hey, just stay away from this, stay away from that, stay away from there, stay away from there, and then that one guy that I thought was a good person was helping me out while I was there.
The porter fool.
Yeah. He, I guess he got in some situation and he ended up, getting assaulted right there, right? So. But it was just the whole thing, like
because it was your first experience actually experiencing somebody getting assaulted. It was your first time. Actually, you're already in the prison that you're gonna do your time at, and you're like not your first time on the yard, but it's like your first experience watching somebody get taken out,
and just the way it all went down, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously, it's not something that it's well put together type deal, right?
Yeah.
So, as that went on, okay, whatever, I'm just kind of just okay. I'm just, just on my toes and just making sure that, I'm not in the wrong place or whatever, like, because I ended up being in the wrong place, because I just kind of went down where I was at, and they were telling me like, hey, get away from there.
Because we were at the different areas?
No, I was just in a place where there was some stuff around there.
Oh, and I didn't know. They couldn't put it on you.
Yeah, so they were like, hey, like, try to move. But they couldn't. They were already like, no, everybody, like, they already had the guns out. So they're like, move. And I was just like, oh, everyone's just like, like, hey, like, you just got here too, like, it's a wrap for you. Yeah.
Hey, from all the years that you did you ever get hit by a gun?
Hell no.
Oh, then you were doing good. You did good.
Yeah.
Well, from you said you probably went to like 5 different prisons,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What was the craziest prison that you went to?
The one that my first one, Corcoran, was the one that had the most, for sure, activities, because it was constantly, and the reason it was so constant was because back then, I know now they say they don't go on lockdown so much, like even if the incident like that happens. Back then, you would go on lockdown for a little
days,
while,
months.
Yeah, months. The least would be 2 weeks at the minimum.
Because what year did you get sentenced?
In 99. And then during that 2-week lockdown, 1 month lockdown, 2 months lockdown, a bunch of stuff's already brewing within the people that are dealing with that type of stuff. So when we get out, it's already something else that...
At the same day, bam, back in.
Yeah, and we're back in. And so, that's just what it was. When we would get a week or two of program, like, I mean, it was lovely, like we go get our store, we can get our packages, but for the most part, man, like in that type of yard, it was constant because they had it was like a kick out yard where they had the shoe and all that, so everyone that's getting kicked out of the shoe lands there before they end up so a lot of people come with issues, right? And it's right there where they're gonna get dealt with. So
did you did you have pen pals throughout those 17 years?
Yeah, so definitely you get pen pals. But one thing, okay, so with me, I ended up having since my sentencing was 19 years, every year the point calculation was different now. So just by my time alone, I ended up in a level 4. And plus, if you don't have a diploma, if you don't have if you didn't go to the military, a bunch of crazy stuff, they add points. So I ended up going to a level 4, and not only that, I ended up getting a custody level where you don't get what do you call it, like boneyard visits. You don't get
now they call them family visits.
Family visit. What was the boneyard visit?
He said boneyard visit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the family visit. And you're pretty much on like a really strict program, like you gotta go in by a certain time. So it's a closed custody, they call it. So I was in close A for a year, then was closed B for a bunch of years, and then you can get program.
Because now level 4s, they get family visits.
I know, that's what I heard. Even lifers, I heard. Yeah. So with that being said, I never really wanted to. I didn't go in there with any kids, so I didn't have that worry. And
did you have a girlfriend?
There was no, by that point,
she was already gone.
Yeah, she was gone. So it was all pen pals. So
pen pals are cool.
Yeah, but I took pen pals more as just to pass the time. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I never wanted to. I told myself from the beginning that I was not gonna ever take anything serious because I was seeing what the guys were going through in there.
What was the craziest thing you saw?
With the guys?
I mean, it's not even crazy, but it's like, then you watch and you're like,
no, it's funny at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just didn't want to say it. But like, it's funny. Like, because
to me, it's seeing a guy screaming and hitting the phone, like if it's really hurting the person on the other side of the phone, Like, what the fuck is that? Like that person on the other side of the phone don't give a fuck. If
she's over it already.
Yeah. If you're that type of person, like, I don't think that person really there for you solid like that, Well,
I mean, if a guy's hitting the phone, like, do I even want to be there for that fool?
Yeah, so to me,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, to me that type of a response to relationships, or the homie that they don't come to visit and he's all dressed up and they never show up.
That's super sad.
Yeah, so
that's super sad. That's not even funny, bro.
No, it's not. But
that is not funny.
No, it's not. But I took it for myself. I was learning from this.
Yeah,
I did not want to go through that. So and mind you, I couldn't get any type of visits in that fashion for me to even give myself that hope. That I can at least be there for that person for at least that time.
Yeah.
It's just a false hope.
Yeah, for sure.
So I never took that serious, and I told myself that not until I get out, am I gonna really pursue that type of thing?
Of course.
But while I'm in here, it's a problem, and I didn't want any problems. Just like I didn't want drugs to be a part of my life in there, I definitely didn't want a relationship ruining my focus in there.
And what about music?
Music, oh yeah, that was something that I did, but it was something that I did for myself.
Okay.
To myself. Obviously, my cellies would know because they'll see me doing it, or they'll hear me practicing like under my breath, and they're like, "What are you doing? You rap?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, here and there, you know. But yeah, definitely, music was something that I did keep focused on, and not until the day that I met the guy. This was 4 years during my term in 2002. I met the guy that knew who I was. And that really sparked me to be like, oh, yeah, you know, like
it felt good.
That I found out that my tape was like, it was moving around and that people were listening to it. It really sparked something in me to want it like at least I still in 2002 I still had like 13 years left or whatever more. I think 15 years. I think like 13, 15, whatever it was. But it was double digits.
But now
still.
you're already you already know the program. You already been down for 4 years.
Yeah.
It was like you're just letting your time go.
Yeah. Well, when that first incident, when I seen that thing happen, that night, my neighbor slid me some weed, and then I hit it. I was like, "Who's this? A little pinner, dude, like the size of a toothpick." But when you don't smoke in there, I didn't smoke the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, I was already a year and some change in, and I hit that, and dude, like, boom, third eye. Now I was just like, like I started thinking of what I seen on the yard.
Oh shit!
And I was like, like it hit me differently now. Now I'm thinking like, damn, like this is my life from now on. Yeah, like this, it really brought me to reality of where I was at.
Yeah.
You know, because that's why I don't like to smoke weed, because it does that to me. Like I can smoke weed right now, and
it gets you paranoid.
Yeah, it'll, like I'll start thinking, my head, what my mom out here, you know. So yeah, it gets me like that. That's why I don't like it,
No,
but that
gets me like that too, but I still do it.
No, I can, dude. Well, I used to
crazy though.
No, I used to do it in the 90s, but this was when it was fresh, from the planta. Now it's like
I only need
all
one
chemicals.
hit, and I'm like, sorry, I feel sus.
Yeah.
Like right away, I start feeling sus. Like, bro, what the heck? You're just at home.
Yeah, no, I can't do it no more. I would have to be like, like.
Did you drink? Did you drink in there or anything?
Yeah, I did. So. A crazy story or funny story, I don't know, had to do with that, because
tell us.
when I was one of my cellies taught me how to make pruno.
How?
So nah, it's easy, man. You just grate the apples into a pillowcase, and you squeeze the juice out of it, and then you add sugar to the juice, and then it just ferments on its own.
That's the kicker.
The sugar, the kicker would be the leftover pulp from the apples that you squeezed.
Okay.
So the juice is gonna be the liquid. The sugar, it eventually turned into alcohol, and then the kicker is the pulp.
Okay.
And then it just fucking ferments into alcohol.
Okay.
So I would I fucking knew how to do it. And my celly taught me, and we would go up, is what they call it, like make pruno every time. Like we'll make it, and when we're done with it, we'll make it again, and we'll make like 5 gallons. We'll keep one for ourselves and to give to the homies, and we'll sell the rest.
Mm-hmm. That was the hustle.
That was our hustle, yeah. So I learned how to do it, and then so I was doing it for many years with him, and then eventually I got a new celly, because he ended up going to the hole, and this new celly, he was a little weird, like a little J-Cat-ish, as they say, but I always give people a chance, I don't right away be like, I don't want this fool here, I'm gonna move him out. No, I'm just like, I'm gonna fill him out, So I did sense the J-Cat-ishness in him, but he was cool, he was cool, but when he would go out to the yard, like to do his little programming out there, he would do like weird like
what?
Like Like he would run the track backwards and punch like if he's boxing. So everybody was like, "What's wrong with this fool?" You know, like and
that's what he worked out, Dick.
yeah, but it's just like people found it strange. You know?
Of course.
And so people would always tell me, "Hey, why you living with that fool?" You know, like that was a J cat, and I'm like, he's cool in the cell. Like he's like, but look, like he'll put, look at that fool running the track backwards. I'm like, man, that's just him out here. He was in the cell. He's cool.
It's pretty normal.
They're like, man, I wouldn't have that for my celly, right? So then one day I asked him, I told him, hey, why do you do that out there? Like a lot of people think that you're burnt out or you're a weirdo. And he was like, hey, better for me. He said, less people to deal with. He told me.
Facts.
Yeah. He says, the less people don't me, the better for me. He told me. Like he wasn't doing nothing that would cause him to get in trouble. He was just being weird, and kept people away from him. No one wanted to him, but he liked the fact. He's like, I don't have to deal with nobody.
He doesn't have to do craziness.
Yeah, so I guess he had a purpose behind it.
Well, that was good. I mean, I feel like us humans, we, especially like in those situations, we always fall to do things so that people don't look at us a certain way. But that fool was down enough to not care.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Let me do this. Don't bother me.
No.
And my time just goes by smoother. So he was smart. Shout out to that homie.
So I eventually I was like, hey, I told him look, I know how to do wine, like you want to drink? He's like, hell yeah.
Oh,
and then,
no.
and so I make it, right? And then we're like, hell yeah, we're drinking, watching TV, watching primetime TV, whatever. We're sipping, and it hits me at some point, and I'm just like, hey, I'm done, like I'm gonna knock out. Like that shit's already about to spit me out. And he's like, I'm gonna stay up. All right, he had the top bunk, so I was like, cool, I'm gonna knock out. But I was, I had so much alcohol, I actually was like, out, like, so at some point during the night, like I'm like, I can hear boom, 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 like, and it woke me up. So I opened my eyes, and this fool's already getting backed out by the cops on his handcuffs, and he's telling me, hey, I have food poisoning, Sally, I have food poisoning. And because I can see red all over his shirt. And then he was trying to wash the sheet, and, because in there we wash in the toilet, obviously we clean it out and disinfect it and then wash in there. So he was trying to washing his sheet in the middle of the night. But I guess the night watch, we're doing, a head count, and they put the light into our cell and they see him full of red. And mind you, it was the pruno, because the pruno's red, the way, depending on how you make it. So it looked like blood, I guess, to the officer, Seeing him with red all over his shirt, and then he seen him with the sheet. Imagine you walking and just his big ass hair right there, just like, boom, all red. And then they look towards me and they're like, they're trying to wake me up, boom, 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 and I'm so knocked out from the alcohol that I don't get up. I can't get up. Like I don't even know they're there. I'm just out. And then so they think he did something to me. Yeah, and so they called back up, and by the time when I woke up, everybody was there already. Like on the door, like get up, boom. I was like, damn. But to me, it was funny because as I opened my eyes, they're backing him up. He's like, Sally, I had food poisoning. Sally, he didn't have food poisoning. He threw up because he was fucking drunk. Yeah. But he was just trying to tell me that's what he had. And that's what I told the officers. And just so you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, see, that was smart as hell.
So, but I was just like, what the fuck? Like I was like, what just happened? Like, I'm like, damn. So now they're getting me out of there. And, they went through the whole process of, they're checking the whole... see if you're drunk, but I had already slept it off, so I
yeah, but the breath be kicking.
Yeah, but I mean, they were just going based off their testing.
The looks,
I passed their little test, and that fool didn't, obviously.
That fool was destroyed.
Yeah. So eventually, they didn't take us to the hole or nothing. They just kind of let us back in, but they put us on like a restrictive, like they call CTQ, confined to quarters. Like they didn't let us out until all this was resolved, and it came back. They charged me with manufacturing alcohol. Because even though we didn't have any more alcohol, we still had the all the stuff, the kicker, and the bag was still everything. So they charged me with, even though I was happy that they didn't find me under the influence, but they hit me with the manufacturing alcohol. They got him with under the influence. and that added 4 months to my term. And when you do manufacturing alcohol or get caught with alcohol, you don't get that time back. So it doesn't matter how good you do. And you don't get that time back. So I was just thinking like from that experience, I was like, I'm cool. I'm not making no more wine. Like this
I need my time back.
That was that, and also like I was like, man, if there's a potential where
Like,
my celly can't handle it, because in that same building, couple of homies were drinking as well, and they got into it, and one of them killed the other.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so it was a thing where I was just like, I don't think, it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
if I'm trying to, like do things correctly, this is a thing that can cause something to go bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, at least you realize that, though.
Yeah. But it took me a couple years. I was enjoying it, because I like to sip, so I enjoyed going through it, But but that one changed everything. And plus the 4 months, I was like, damn, if it's 4 months every time, like that's gonna add up
For sure.
eventually. So I was
You're
like,
gonna
nah,
do
I'm cool.
fucking 21.
Yeah, I'm cool. And then so I stopped doing it from that point on. I would, get some from other people here and there, just, if it was my birthday or shit like that. But not making it anymore. I was like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one time that when I caught a little bit of time for that.
That was a funny little story.
That fool was funny though. That he just looked funny. He was funny all the way around. To me, everyone hated him not because they thought it was a J-Cat, but to me it was cool. Like he's funny. Like Like I found a way to get along, and I've had people, throughout the years that might seem a little strange, but. Like I said, I always give people the time of day before I judge them, and I was always able to take them out of that mentality. A lot of them just going through a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And if you can really be, if you can give in a cool environment, then you can change people's aspect in life,
That's dope. But you know what? It's really good that you said that, because nobody really even is willing to, even just because they find a guy a little weird, like they just push him off. Like, bro, like you're probably the weirdest one. Pushing people off.
For even taking the time of your day to
even judge them.
Yeah, judge another person, right?
Because at the end of the day, we're all messed up.
Yeah,
and if you
we're
think,
there.
Yeah, and if you know, even in work, like. If you think you are not messed up, you are the most messed up one, and God bless you, because you're a mess.
So I mean, in there it's like, your celly, to have a good celly, obviously it's cool, but it all starts with you as well,
Yeah. And it takes both.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say? Do you cook in there?
Yeah, I mean the basics, the spreads, the burritos. Like we'll have the hot pot, so we can deep fry. We'll deep fry the burritos we'll make. Back then there wasn't as much. I guess now, like I look at like social media, and they do so much now, like that I'm like, damn, we didn't have the mind to think about that.
So much stuff.
Yeah, it does.
So much stuff.
And we had that book back then, but obviously we didn't have the stuff that it has now.
This is like 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, we didn't have it. We had stuff.
Like stuff that it's like, you could cook anything.
Yeah, anything. And people that really have that cook mentality can, they can
put in that work.
Hell yeah. Like there's, I mean, I see TikToks of foods in there, and I'm like, damn, they're living better than me out here. They got more food than I do in my fridge,
Because it's expensive out here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, but don't get me wrong. I never got tired of spreads, and I still make spreads to this day.
I'm down for them here and there as well.
Yeah, like I like the taste.
What's your favorite style?
Just like the basics, the chili beans, the sausage, cheese,
mayo.
Mayo, hell yeah, mayo for sure.
Mayo on everything.
Yeah, mayo. The basic one, but with whatever, out here we can get whatever now, pickles and all that, just give it a little tangy taste. But not like that big old stuff that that people try to they exaggerate a little bit just for TikTok and all that. But for me, as long as I got a little bowl with the basics, I'm cool. You're
surviving.
Yeah.
Did you draw in there?
No, hell no. I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to draw. I used to funny sketch people though. Like, how like those funny sketches at the beach. I'll make we'll be at
the characters.
Yeah, I'll make characters of people, but not that I'm saying I'm good at them, but it would look like them, and I'll just like if whatever their features were a little bit exaggerated, like if they had a big ass forehead, and I'll just like kind of stretch their head or their nose or whatever.
So you got a little talent on you.
Yeah, but I would just like scribble it, like, but it would look like them, and I have everyone laughing. I have them mad, but everyone else is like, "What the fuck?" Like that.
Now you're good, Jacob.
Yeah, but definitely don't know how to draw. I would get a lot of stuff made for me, like send it out to my family.
Oh, nice.
All those the frames with potato chip bags and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I never got into it. I don't know. I just never got into it. I was more like, I was always taken care of. I always had what I had, so I always buy everything rather than me wanting to make it.
Yeah, it does make a difference when you have somebody that does is there for you, your family.
Yeah, so that's where that comes from. The homies that really dedicate themselves to an art is because they might not have somebody out there helping them, so they have to resort to their talents.
Yeah,
And a lot of homies know how to draw.
Yeah,
and a lot of homies know how to create.
Little
creative
things.
arts, like they make stuff up, frames, crosses,
everything,
pendants, whatever, and the only thing that it's crazy to me is that these homies are so talented, but when they get out, they don't use it on the street.
Yeah,
and a lot of it does come with benefits, like tattooing is very beneficial on the street,
for sure, especially now.
Yep. Being able to create stuff and all that. Yeah, it's very beneficial nowadays.
Did you work out every day?
Yeah. So in the beginning, because when I went in there, I was like a little young, puny kid, so it took me a lot before I can really develop the muscle to hang in there with, because I used to see the homies doing all this bar work, and I was like, damn, I could barely do a few, but eventually as you get older and you're maturing and you're eating the right things that you need to eat, the proteins and all that, and you dedicate yourself to working out. So when you came
home, you were ready. You did it all.
Because I can do, I had already dominated the workout.
Well, that's 17 years.
Yeah. Like to me, it was nothing. Like I would just do burpees and not even, I would just stop because I was just like I can't even, like, it was just like, I can keep going, like my wind, I had already, mastered my wind, it was just a thing where I felt like I've mastered it,
Okay.
But that was another thing that would help me, throughout my day, working out, music, when things were okay, when the program was program, obviously once you're locked up in the cell, then you can't really work out how you want to. You just kind of do whatever you can in that small confined little space, your little burpees and your little calisthenics, but you can't really, you actually lose muscle when you're doing that, because when you're doing bar work, you gain muscle, but when you're just doing exercise calisthenics, you're actually losing it because you're really not building it. You're just like burning, you're sweating more than you're really building.
Makes sense.
But
what prison did you parole from?
Well, I ended up making it down to a camp. Yeah, because what happened was when I ended up in a level 2, so
you did good.
Yeah, well, like I told you, we were in lockdown so much that your points drop.
That makes sense. Yeah,
your points drop because you're not out there like getting in trouble on the yard. Like, let's say in a year, you're 12 months, you're damn near on lockdown for 7 of them, and within that time, you're you're not getting in trouble other than whatever you're doing in your cell. If you get caught, with something in your cell, because every now and then they'll do searches, even though you're on lockdown, they'll catch you with something, and that's how you get your time. They'll find, like I said, they'll find your pruno, they'll find, nowadays, you have phones and all that. I ended up more further down the line getting caught with a phone as well. So little things like that. So your points will drop, and then, but nobody wants to go to a dorm because you're so used to the cell life that you don't want to deal with more people.
Yeah.
You're just cool with your cellie. Like, sometimes you might not get along with them, but you can deal with it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people really purposely catch time so your points can stay high, and that's what we would do. We would like purposely catch time, just to stay in the cell living, But there was one time where my points had already came down, and I was gonna go to the dorm, and then I was like, damn, I don't want to, I don't want to. So I was like, I purposely was going to, get caught with something, just to like something to do with the Pruno shit,
Yeah.
I was gonna leave a kicker there, just like, hey, like I don't care if they give me 4 more months. I
Yep.
just don't want to go to the dorm.
Yeah.
And then the cop, he told me straight up. He's like, you're up for your because he knew Matt had been there a few years, so he's like, you're up for your classification. You're going to level 2. He's like, I know you left that there on purpose. Because everyone does it. It's a known thing. But this guy, I guess he was just like, look, man, I ain't going to write you up for it. He's like, I ain't writing you up for it. He said, you think about yourself. He was like, man, you don't want to just live your rest of your life confined like this,
Yeah.
Like, try
it.
something different, man. He's like, try something different. Go out there, man. Breathe. Get the benefits of being there. Like, if you're there, if you're getting a chance to do that, go do it, man. And see for yourself before you judge it. You
can come back, fool.
Yeah, pretty much, And he says, I ain't writing you up. And I was like, because I wanted him to. But then again, I guess I was like, you know what? I thought about it too. I was like, like right here, like, I don't get phone time as much, and I was kind of thinking about, like,
like you were thinking of like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should do this. This is a good thing for myself, for my family. I'm able to call, do whatever, be able to not be in one room.
Yeah. And then a couple of homies were already up for that same transfer, so I talked to them. They're like, yeah, I'm going. It's like, have you heard of that? And they're like, yeah, it's cool. A lot of the homies that were already, because the yard was like, the prison was right next to it.
Got it.
The one we were at the time.
Got
so he's like, all the homies that were here that ended up going to the lower level, they're there. And they told me who was there, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, let's go there. And so as I was going through the process of that, let's get back to it. When I got there, I really didn't like it. It was overwhelming.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people. There was a lot. It was a big dorm with a couple hundred people in it.
You're back at the 9,500.
Yeah, see, it felt like it. So I got it was just, I don't know. I remember just kind of just looking at the whole scenario and thinking like, damn, like, shit, this is really different.
And that's where you paroled from?
No, not from there. Eventually, they ran my... Eventually, as time went on, during a classification hearing, they kind of seen that I was under a violence on my file, which was why they started me at such a high security, and then I couldn't leave certain.
Yeah, because when you have any kind of violent crime in your record, you're not allowed to be at a camp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or you can't even work outside of the of the yard. So they were like, hey, they got you. You're under bio, which is violence. He's like, have they ever like checked in on your case to see if you were even eligible to go, like, to experience some other stuff, some other prisons? Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I've been like this whole time, and then we're gonna check it out. And then come the following classification, they're like, hey, we reviewed your case, and we've come to terms that your case is not violence, meaning, I guess, serious violence, like how people murder. Because in that yard there was people that were there for murder. It was a secure level 2. There's lifers there. Even though it was a dorm living, but it was.
They've been there long enough to where their points are low.
Yeah,
they just gotta be in prison for life.
Yeah, but it's just it's a secure. It's fenced out like if it was a high security prison, but it's just a lower level prison. So that's how I got a chance to experience something else, because they reviewed my case, and by them reviewing it, then this was fucking I don't know, 8 years later, like they couldn't make that determination from the gate, and me not have to go from the top all the way down.
But it was good though, because you were able to like experience every single thing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
By the time you were time to come home, you were already kind of more at ease and not so tense stuff of being locked up in one room.
It was definitely a training, to better myself, because in those times, homies really did take the time to talk to a new youngster coming in. So honestly, if I didn't go where I went to begin with, I probably wouldn't have the same schooling that I ended up having.
I understand.
And when I was in the dorm, I was carrying myself the same way I would how I was before.
Like when you got to Corcoran.
So a lot of people, like, I was treating my little area where my bunk was like if it was my cell. So I would clean it, I would keep it, tidy, like if it was my cell. So a lot of people would trip out on me. They're like this fool's been around, or he's been somewhere. Like, not because not everyone's like that in there. There's a lot of dirtbags in there. So like I would have people from other races come and extend their hand and say, hey, I see how you carry yourself, and I know what's up.
They probably been there as well.
Yeah, they were, because they carry themselves similar,
way,
but they're older than me, and I was still, in my 20s, so they kind of tripped out that someone at my age was almost living like them, and they're like in their 40s, 50s, So they're like, this guy's been taught well. That's what they tell me. Someone taught you well.
Yeah.
Someone taught you well, because even though you're in a lower level, you still carry yourself
like that.
Like you're still up there,
Which is good.
Yeah.
How old were you when you came home?
I was 30. I turned 37 that year. Yeah, so 20 to 37.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's 17 years.
What was the saddest thing you experienced through your whole 17 years?
17 years? This one's gonna trip you out. I spoke on it before, but I never really speak on it because I think people don't understand. But during my time, I never looked past the day that was there, right? Like I never thought like, oh, I'm getting out, or my time's coming, or not. Like I try to make the best of it, in a certain way, like I lived it day by day. Yes. Because I although I had a date, it's not guaranteed, right?
Yes.
So I just kind of lived it day by day, and not until the day actually came that I left was the day that I realized, hey, I'm leaving, right? But to answer your question, the day that they picked me up, right, it was my mom. So I'm walking out, and she's waiting for me. She hands me a iPhone. It was like the iPhone 4 or something. I don't know. I've never seen one. Yeah, we had phones in there, but they were like flip phones. So it wasn't nothing like a smartphone. So whatever, we're getting in the car, and where you want to go? Like, let's just go home. So as she's driving out of the parking structure, I look back, right, just to look back at the place. And I got this emotion, like really crazy emotion. I felt like sad, right? But you would think not sad. I got this emotion, and you would think it's a happy emotion because I'm leaving and I'm going home. But the thing was that I felt a sadness that I was leaving something behind, because mind you, 17 years.
It's your whole life.
Yeah, so it's hard to explain the emotion, but I felt like I was leaving a big part of me when I was leaving. Not to say that I didn't want to leave, but it's just like I explained before. Like, let's say a foster kid, that lived with their foster parents for 15 years, but finally they get to go with their real parents. They're happy to see their real parents, but
they're sad that they're leaving their family behind.
Yeah, so to me, like 17 years of prison, they literally watched me, become a man, and they taught me to be a man, and they taught me a lot, Although, prison is what it is, but I I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for me being in there. So when I left, I got an emotion of leaving.
And that was a sad emotion.
But it was just 1 second. And I was like, man, let's get the out of here.
And then I got the happiest moment.
Yeah. But it's a crazy feeling, though.
What would you say was the happiest, not the happiest, but like a happy, nice experience in your 17 years that you could remember and that you were like...
I had to think about that one. I guess thinking about it, it's not something that I had, and nothing physical. It was more like just the older homies taking the time to school me.
Yes.
Because I know that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, if it does, it's really rare. Because I mean, you can just see, how things are now, and you can see the youngsters how they're running around, chicken with no head. And it really takes someone that sees something in you, because from the moment that one of the homies and this is in the beginning, where he's talking to me, and he I guess he's seeing something in me, or I might remind him of his little brother or something, where he took the time to tell me, look, man, this is what you need to stay away from. And I think it was also because somebody took me around a little group of people, and they're like, oh, this is the little homie, and this guy was just there to eavesdrop of what was going on there, but he brought me over there, and now someone's seen that I had no business right there, so he pulled me over and told me, hey, look, don't get involved in this, stay away from this, stay away from that dude, stay away from this, don't let that guy mislead you, that guy's right. Not okay, he's not okay, just stay. And so he took the time to tell me what I could have been doing wrong, and kind of planted the seed for me for the future.
Yes.
To be aware of certain things, because he could have not cared.
Because else you would have wrecked right before you even got to prison.
There, because I was already somewhere where I shouldn't have been, and not because I did it. It's just because someone dragged me over there.
Yeah.
And those things happen all the time. People mislead you. Bad people. Because I also had people that were they knew I had that was taken care of, so they were trying to get me to do drugs so I can be the one to get it, right?
Yeah.
So all that type of things, and
good thing you're super strong enough that you were like, nah, I ain't messing with this.
Yeah, so that's to me,
that's the saddest.
And that's the experience that I can always say that if I didn't have that, like, I'm glad that that happened, because it planted that seed for me, that's why I'm out here, because I can very well have turned to drugs, because in there a lot of people, the reason they end up doing drugs because they're bored. I was bored again at times, and there was times where it crossed my mind where I used to see the homies kind of doing things, and I see them enjoying, and I'm like, damn, like, I wonder what it feels like, like, why does he so like, he looks like he feels good, But I was like, nah, hell no.
Not that good.
No, because I'll see them after the fact when they don't have it. They ain't feeling good no more.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So I took all that into consideration. Like I said, everything that would have been a bump on the road for me, I made sure that it wasn't a part of my journey.
Good.
Yeah, and I made it out.
You made it home.
Yeah, and now here I am, and telling my story, to a lot of people that I would never thought I'd be telling my story to, but hey,
well, a lot of people are gonna hear your story.
Yeah,
now.
Sometimes it's good to be the person. Like I said, there was someone there to tell me and teach me, but I know that every time that I have a story to tell, it could help somebody.
Exactly.
Could help somebody. I don't not everything I say, but they can probably pick at it and say, like,
you know what, that's the purpose of this channel. A lot of times, like, a lot of times people think, oh, it's a glorification, and that's definitely not. That's definitely not the case, because the case here is, like, you went through it, you were able to overcome it, and you've been home for 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's not what we're doing. We're just sharing experiences so that someone that's younger or even older that still haven't been able to get themselves together is like, you know what? I could do this.
Yeah.
I could do this, and my story might help somebody else.
Yep.
You know?
And a lot of times, like, the stuff you learn in there to to navigate in there and to like, let's say in there, dude, like people that really do things in there. I mean, those are like manager skills, you know. Like if you really put that out here on the streets, if you really come out with the attitude to really put in work out here legit with that type of mentality, you can do things out here.
That's
you can,
right.
Yeah, you can do things, because I experienced that, you know. Like I came out here and you know, and you know, try to, you know, do the legit work, and I stood out because I come with this mentality from in there, and everyone's like, damn, like this fool, like he knows what he's doing mentally, and he's willing to go with it physically.
That's
so,
right.
you know, like that, it's a trait that it's very rare out here, you know, and you
What
can
is
really
it that you
use
do, if you don't mind me asking?
well, I manage. Yeah,
Okay.
I manage a department, and so I'm a manager for a department, you know, and in a huge location.
Nice.
Let me say it that way, because I don't want to put it all out there, but
Yeah, we don't know where you work either.
but from the year that, look, I'll put it to you like this: I never worked in my life. Only in prison, like, you know, the little table wiping at the kitchen, and, you know, back dock, whatever they.
Yeah.
But on the streets, I never worked up until I got out of prison. I had my first job ever, and in 2015, and it didn't take me long to bam,
Get to it.
up, like climb the ladder.
Oh,
Simply
good.
because I was outshining everybody, not only mentally, like I said, but physically. I came with that.
We're putting in work.
No one knew where I was coming from, but everyone knew I was different. You know, everyone
Yeah.
knew, like, this guy's not your average guy from out here. You
Yeah.
know, this guy's, he's like,
He's happy to be home.
Yeah,
He's happy
and-
to be at work. He's happy to be
Yeah.
doing what we're doing because we're grateful. And that's the difference. Like from a lot of us that we come home and we, you know, we stay focused and we're not on drugs. That's what happens. We stay focused and we are so grateful
Yeah.
to be out here.
Yeah.
So we're just doing what we got to
Yeah.
do to get to where we got to get. And that's it. That's what makes
Yeah.
us happy.
And one thing that people that don't know, when I worked in prison, I used to get paid like 16 cents an hour at some point. Imagine that.
Yeah.
You know, like we're working really actual work in there. You know, they will put you to do some actual work, and you're getting paid pennies an hour. You know.
Yeah.
My highest pay number in there was, and this was a lead pay number, was $48 a month. You know, so imagine now being out here hustling and getting your money, but in there I was happy to get $48 a month. To me, I was more like proud that I made it to that, because I knew I had something in me. For you to take lead,
Yeah.
you really have that skill, leadership skills,
And you're going
you
to
know?
use it everywhere you go.
Yeah, so to me, I was like, if I can do that in here when I get out, you know, like,
That's right.
I'm gonna do my shit, you know.
That's
like,
right.
And it didn't take me long, you know.
That's right.
And
What was the hardest thing for you to adjust to? 17 years is a long time.
Social media, yeah, and the iPhone. Yeah,
Oh, because your mom,
as-
you said your mom handed you the phone.
Yeah, I didn't know how to even turn it on. So I put to you, I never had an email, you know, in my life up until when I had to open that iPhone, you know. Definitely the digital era was what was the hardest thing to get adjusted to.
And when you came home, you did a little bit of music?
Yeah, right away. Yep, right away. I started doing music with my nephews, because it turns out my nephews were already doing their little thing, because they grew up listening to my songs, and obviously listening to just music in general, but really listening to my songs and having this thought of they would think of me as this legend, right? Because you know, because of what I've been through, and someone that can survive the 90s and then go to prison for 17 years and survive that, you know, and the younger crowds that really know what that means, they're gonna give you your due.
That's
know?
right.
They're gonna be like, damn, this fool, you know, like, this fool really did that.
That's
you know,
right.
what everyone wishes not to ever have to do. Like, I ended up, you know, doing it, and with flying colors.
Yes.
You know, like I didn't bend, you know, I didn't fold, none of that shit. I came home and with
Started
pride.
rapping.
Yeah. And then so my nephews were like happy to have me home, because they were already trying to rap. So we got together and created a rap group, which is VOTG, Voice of the Ghetto, and that's what we've been doing ever
That's
since.
cool.
Yeah.
Because my husband has shot videos.
Yep. That's how we met him, and we've been doing that. That's our baby right there. That's what we love to do. Music is our passion.
And if it feels that, like you said, that passion that you always love music, and if it feels like something that you always wanted to do, obviously you work, because we all have to work regardless of what we love to do, and it's like you still have that, and it makes you feel good, and then you're able to do it with your nephew, so even better.
Yeah, because it was a dream of mine in the 90s. I used to do it, which was the story I told in the beginning, and to be able to fulfill it, like it was a great feeling, and that was probably one of my greatest achievements, out here, even though I have other things that I've done, but to be able to live out my dream up to a certain extent was very it was something that really made my day and my life.
I know,
I was
that's
able
right.
to live that, and I mean, we still do it, but we had our moments where we're like really having lots of fun with it, we still do it, but now time, it gets, you get more responsibilities, and it's a little harder to really have the time for a lot of things, but we find time for everything.
That's right. That's right. What is something that you do that you like when like something that you still have that you do when you were in prison?
What is it?
Like you can't kick. You know what I mean?
Well, crazy is that it was coffee. I know you're probably thinking more physical.
No, mine is like the coffee thing too.
Yeah, coffee, but I just stopped doing that.
Oh, dang.
I stopped doing it like a few months ago. It was a challenge for me because I thought I felt it as an addiction. So I was like, I always consider myself as a non-addict, but then I was like,
were you drinking coffee all day or something?
Yeah, I would drink it like 4 times a day.
Oh yeah, you're
in
doing
prison.
bad.
Yeah, like 4
yeah, you're
cups.
doing bad.
Nah, it was just, I don't know, dude. It's just a little rush. Like at the end of the day, it really doesn't do anything for me. Like now that I don't drink it, like I don't feel any different. It was just like, oh, the Lakers are coming on. I mean, it was just something that, like it's just like how. I guess drinking alcohol. We're like, oh, it's the weekend, I'm drinking alcohol. Or it's a party, I'm gonna drink. It's the same thing. Like, oh, the Lakers are coming on tonight, I'm gonna drink. Oh, my show's coming on, I'm gonna drink coffee. Coffee was my thing that relaxed me to just post
I understand.
up,
So obviously we just came back from Hawaii this morning, right? And we I waited in the line for Starbucks for 45 minutes. Oh. So he was like, damn, you really need to stop drinking coffee.
Yeah, that's too much.
But this is the thing. I don't drink. It's only in the morning. Like, I only need my morning coffee, and I like to wake up and sit down and read my scripture and drink my coffee or whatever. But I need to have that little time for myself. Throughout the day, I don't need it. I never need it. But I like to. And I'm not putting it down.
well, going back to the question that I answered about the coffee, one thing that I had never kicked was just using the instant Folgers.
Oh, that's what I use.
Yeah.
The Folgers is what I use with a little bit of creamery. Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah. Like I've never got into the like the Starbucks or prepared coffee.
Yeah. No, I love my
Folgers.
I love my Folgers.
Yeah,
I still use it. I have it at home, and I'm not kicking it.
I never seen myself stopping it, but I think I was just a challenge for myself to see if I'm able to stop something that I felt wasn't a drug, but I guess at the end of the day, it kind of sort of is. I'm gonna tell you why though, because in prison they had maybe, I don't know now. They had programs that were called the SAP program. It was the substance abuse program in certain yards. And if you attended that program, you couldn't drink coffee. Like if you were in the SAP program, you couldn't drink coffee. They considered it not a drug, but
it's something.
How you say, like something that you're addicted to.
Yeah, you substitute one thing for another, and it's just you have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
Like in the NA meetings, like those supposed to be drinking coffee all day.
Yeah, because that's they replaced.
Yeah,
they replaced it with that
part. There you go.
So yeah, the substance abuse programs won't allow you to drink coffee. So that's why I kind of knew like. They connect it to addiction.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
And that's why I every so often I stop, but then I start over. Once, let's say if the Lakers fucking go to the championship, I'm probably gonna make a coffee, and then that's a wrap.
Hey, but at least it's not like, oh, I want to go get a beer, and, you know, like,
Yeah,
you're probably going to do that too.
Yeah,
but,
I'll still do that, but
but at least it's like, hey, it's a coffee.
yeah. No, I get it. It was part of. It was just my routine. It was a routine for me.
That part.
Yeah.
It's the routine. I think it's the routine.
Yeah.
Any words of advice to stay out of prison, since obviously you've been out for 10 years?
Well, what kept me out is, I mean, stabilize yourself, man. I mean, not saying not go out and do different things, but definitely find what you love or what you end up knowing that you love and stick to it. Whether you're a business-minded person where you can be your own boss, or if you're end up working, you know, like 9 to 5, you know, always, like I said, use what you've been using in the system to maintain in there, or to hustle, your hustle mind that you're doing there. Like you were saying, people that draw, people that tattoo, or people just that like to manage a crew.
They just gotta stay programming still.
Use that. You use that to your advantage out here in the streets, because you're definitely gonna stand out from everybody else. Somebody that's been to prison definitely has a sharper mind, you know, than your average person that's
so true.
Yeah, that just been out here, you know.
A non-person that's never been in prison is definitely going to deny that.
Yeah.
But they can't
But
tell
not
us
saying,
anything.
I mean, everyone has their own way,
sure.
but we just our approach is a lot different, and a lot of people look for that. Like, meaning like you can position yourself and you can make your life good with that in mind, and with those talents that you learned in there, you know, or you sharpened up in there, that you polished up. So yeah, just, you know, never give up on your dreams as well. Like, you know, with me, I had the music dream, and I ended up putting that into flourishing. So, you know, just stay busy, man. Just stay busy.
That's basically what it is. Stay busy. Stay programming, guys.
Yeah, legitly though.
Well, yeah.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hard part for a lot of people, you know? But it's hard. But nothing good comes easy.
Nah. It's gonna take hard work, but once you position yourself,
that's right.
It now it's on you. You know.
That's right.
So yeah.
That's right. Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
No, of course. I appreciate it. I mean that.
All right. I appreciate you having me, man, for sure. No. I know.
Guys,
I know.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram.